This page is the cover of a weekly SEGA Saturn magazine, highlighting Sonic Jam as the main feature. It's packed with info on upcoming games and special features. The big news is definitely Sonic Jam, with a large image of Sonic himself taking center stage. They're also previewing Panzer Dragoon Saga, which is described as an RPG, and Real Sound, Kaze No Regret. Super Robot Wars F is also mentioned as something to look forward to. There's a section listing a bunch of other Saturn games they are covering in this issue. Titles like Zeroyan Champ Doozy J Typer, Momotaro Duchuki, Majin Monogatari, Pretty Sammy, and Virus. It looks like they're diving deep into the SEGA Saturn software lineup. Down at the bottom, it seems to be hyping up Enix's entry into the Saturn market with a game called Seven Wind Island Story. Seems like a big deal for the magazine. They're also mentioning Groove on Fight and Advanced World War II. Overall, this cover is screaming excitement for SEGA Saturn gamers and promising a packed issue with lots to read about. This page is showcasing the very first Computer Entertainment Software Academy Awards for '96, hosted by the Computer Entertainment Software Association, or SESA. It's all about determining the #1 software of '96, with a big Grand Prize '96 logo in Japanese, and the bold text, First SESA, making it clear this is the inaugural event. It looks like an announcement or advert for these awards, highlighting the importance of recognizing top computer entertainment software from that year. This page is all about celebrating SEGA Saturn's big wins at the Computer Entertainment Software Academy Awards, or SESA Awards. Following on from the previous page, it's shouting about SEGA Saturn scooping up a fantastic 8 awards across 7 categories, out of a total of 23 categories. The page prominently features Sakura Wars as a major winner. It then lists the specific award categories that SEGA Saturn games have won, which are the SESA Grand Prize itself, Main Character Award, Sub-Character Award, Director Award, Shooting Game Award, Graphics Award, Programming Award, and Sports Game Award. Below these category listings, it shows 4 game boxes: Sakura Wars, Virtua Cop 2, Nights into Dreams, and Decathlete. Each game box comes with a little red circle highlighting award commemoration editions. For Sakura Wars, there's a limited reprint edition coming on June 20th, priced at 8,800 yen. Virtua Cop 2 is getting a limited virtual gun set also for the awards, planned for July 24th at 6,800 yen. Knights and Decathlete are part of a Saturn collection commemorating the awards, urgently released on June 20th for 2,800 yen each. It looks like SEGA is really capitalizing on these award wins, with special editions and collections for fans. This page is an advert for 04 Champ Doozy J, a racing game coming to both SEGA Saturn and PlayStation. It's slated for release in June 1997 and will cost 6,800 yen. The advert highlights it as a Zeroyan new masterpiece and mentions that first editions will include special Zeroyan stickers. There's also a CD soundtrack being released by Media Rings. This page showcases Stakes Winner 2 for the SEGA Saturn, a horse racing game where you aim to become the world's best. It's advertising a special Spring GI prediction contest, where if you correctly predict the winners of all 4 major races, you can win an original Stakes Winner 2 odds card. You could enter by post or online, and they've listed some key race dates like the Oaks, Japanese Derby, Yasuda Kinen, and Takarazuka Kinen. They're also highlighting that the game comes bundled with a 40-page booklet that dives into all the secrets of racehorse breeding. For those wanting a head start, they're revealing the second set of breeding horse passwords. You get passwords for the Stallion Danzig Seattle and the Broodmare Interschalman, listed in Japanese characters. You can see a screenshot of the game in action, showing a horse race. The game is priced at 5,800 yen, and it's a horse racing action title, with illustrations by Miso Suzuki, developed by Saurus and published by SNK. This page is dedicated to Macross, Do You Remember Love? On SEGA Saturn, celebrating the 15th anniversary of Macross. It highlights that this game features scenes not seen in the original movie, creating a digital movie theater experience where you can relive those memorable moments. It's a side-scrolling shooting game spread across 2 Creedroms and is priced at 6,800 yen. You can see some action in the screenshots, showing a Valkyrie fighter jet in combat. The page is visually dominated by a large illustration of the Macross cast, including Minmay, Hikaru, Misa, and other familiar faces. This page showcases Soldner's Child, a new title advertised as a fantastic simulation RPG, coming this summer for 7,800 yen. It seems to be a strategy game where you command soldiers in a war-torn land, aiming to end the conflict and bring peace. We get a look at some key characters with portraits and brief descriptions. There's the main character who fights to end the war, Anastasia who fights alongside the main character, Schuteindork, a giant right-arm-wielding soldier, and Smiley, a mysterious mercenary whose origins are shrouded in mystery. The screenshots give us a glimpse of the gameplay, showing large-scale battles with numerous units engaged on a grid-based map, and another shot of what appears to be an in-game dialogue scene. It looks like a blend of strategic troop management with a dramatic storyline focused on a mercenary's journey to bring peace to a troubled land. This page is dedicated to Angelique Special 2, advertised as a neo-romance game. The tagline poses the question, "Love is life, or queen?" It seems to be a game focused on romance and becoming a queen, with this installment being described as even more exciting than before. The advert highlights new characters, improved character development, and romance elements. We get a look at some in-game screenshots, showing dialogue scenes, and what appears to be a strategic map view. There's a list of characters and their voice actors too. The page also advertises a premium box travel set for Angelique Special 2, which includes merchandise like a tote bag and towel. Alongside Angelique, there are smaller adverts for other games. Dark Hunter is presented as a multimedia English learning software, based on a popular horror fantasy series by Yuka Kuramoto, designed to teach English in a game format. Game Japan History is advertised as an epoch-making edutainment software to experience history through gameplay. Finally, Emit is also mentioned as another multimedia English learning software, with beautiful artwork and music. Both Angelique Special 2 and Game Japan History are advertised as good reviews on sale, with prices of 9,800 yen and 6,800 yen respectively. Dark Hunter is also advertised as good reviews on sale, with a release date of 5/30. This page is showcasing a couple of adventure games, highlighting The Seventh Guest, known as Nanatsu no Haikan in Japan, and Myst. It's promoting them as a double pack of mystery adventures from overseas that have been big hits. The Seventh Guest is described as a puzzle adventure game set in a mansion filled with mysteries. It mentions famous voice actors and a large production team. Myst is called a surrealistic adventure game set on a mysterious island, emphasizing its beautiful graphics and immersive puzzle elements. The page also advertises other game bundles, including a value set featuring Nobunaga's Ambition, Howden, and Nobunaga's Ambition Returns, both historical simulation games aimed at beginners. There's also a set with Sangokushi vs. and Sangokushi Kongmingden, Romance of the Three Kingdoms Vi, and Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Kongming's biography, targeting players who want to experience grand strategy. Both the Seventh Guest, Myst bundle, and the Sangokushi bundle are advertised as good reviews on sale with discounted prices. The Nobunaga's Ambition set is also mentioned as a good reviews on sale item. This page is dedicated to the upcoming release of PTO 2I, which is Admiral's Decision 2I in Japan, a World War II naval simulation game. The page highlights it as the third installment in a Super Dreadnought war simulation series, emphasizing evolved three-dimensional battles across sea and sky. Visually, it features striking images of naval officers against a backdrop of battleships and explosions, alongside screenshots showcasing the in-game interface and naval combat. The game is slated for release on June 27th, priced at 9,800 yen. A strategy guidebook for PTO2 is also advertised as essential for players of all skill levels. In addition to PTO2I, the page also promotes Uncharted Waters 2, New Horizons. It mentions it's already on sale for 6,800 yen and is a reimagining of the popular Super Famicom title for the Sega Saturn, emphasizing adventure, mystery, and fate on the seven seas. This page showcases the 3D action shooting game, Amok. It emphasizes the game's exceptional controls, promising players smooth and responsive handling even in intense battles. The page highlights the challenging missions you'll face, such as destroying power plants and clearing minefields, ensuring a tense and varied battlefield experience. AMOC also boasts an exciting two-player mode, offering both cooperative and versus options, so you can team up with a friend or battle against them. The game's setting is Planet Amok, described as a desolate battlefield. You take on the role of a soldier piloting the Battlewalker Slambard to complete perilous missions and survive in this war-torn world. Finally, there's an announcement about a special campaign to celebrate the release of Amok, where you can win luxurious prizes. The game is advertised as being on sale from June 20th for 5,800 yen. This page is an advertisement for Game Paradise, promoting it as the Video Game Heaven Ultimate Pack. It seems to be selling a combo deal with the game itself and a VHS video. The tagline asks, "Game or video?" suggesting you can either play the game or watch the video. The game version for Sega Saturn is highlighted with a release date of June 6th and special bonuses for early purchasers, including a signed greeting card from the voice actors. The advertisement points out several game features like supporting both vertical and horizontal screen orientations, additional player characters, and an upgrade to 11 voice actors from the original 5. They've also added new voice dialogue demos between stages and 4 original theme songs. The VHS video content is also detailed, including the Saturn version's opening animation and original anime video clips, boasting a total of 60 minutes of premium video content. There's a section listing voice actors, such as Kanai Mika, Tomokazu Seki, Hikaru Midorikawa, and others. The page also promotes a Jaleco radio program called Mika and Miki Suchi Radio Rail Station, with broadcast times on various radio stations. Finally, it encourages readers to visit Jaleco's homepage. This page showcases the game Night Ruth Explanation of the Paranormal. The main tagline emphasizes two truths, suggesting a mystery with hidden layers. The game centers around a terrifying paranormal event and follows 5 high school students who get caught up in it. They've been rescued from the depths of terror by a sacred sword called Second Daily, and have been navigating through the indigo of the unknown. The text highlights strange actions and a series of mysterious incidents these 5 students are facing, culminating in a confrontation with a powerful enemy. We can see various screenshots from the game, with dialogue boxes showcasing in-game conversations and scenes. The page also boasts a luxurious voice cast, featuring names like Mika Kanai, Yuko Miyamura, Megumi Ogata, Ai Orikasa, Yuji Ueda, Kyoko Hikami, Norio Wakamoto, Kotono Mitsuishi, and many others, indicating a strong focus on voice acting within the game. Finally, the page announces the game's release window as summer 1997 and a price of 5,800 yen, excluding tax. It's clearly a Sega Saturn title, published by Sonnet, as indicated by their respective logos and website address. This page is all about the game Kakyusei, a title that promises excitement of the heart. Judging by the images scattered around, it definitely leans towards a romance or dating sim style, with lots of anime girls in suggestive poses and situations. Developed by Elf, this Sega Saturn title is heavily focused on beautiful girls and the kind of heart-throbbing moments you'd expect from the genre. You can even check out Elf's official website at www.elfgame.co.jp for more information. The next page continues to highlight the game Kakyusei. It seems to be an advertisement announcing it's now on sale and doing very well with reviewers. The yellow burst in the corner shouts, "Now on sale! Released to great reviews!" and mentions it comes on 3 kridroms with a suggested price of 7,800 yen. The main text at the top reads, "Oh, I want to tell you," which really pushes the emotional and romantic feel of the game. Surrounding the main image of a schoolgirl character are smaller snapshots showing suggestive scenes, reinforcing that mature theme hinted at before. Finally, in the bottom right corner there's a clear 18+ age restriction, confirming this game is definitely aimed at an adult audience. This page is the contents page for SEGA Saturn Magazine Volume 18, dated June 6, 1997. It highlights a few key articles within the magazine. Firstly, on page 52, there's a special feature titled, "Play Sega Saturn to the Max," promising to reveal secrets and hidden ways to play popular Saturn games. Page 81 continues a special serial project focusing on cheat codes for the Saturn, labeled Cheat Codes A Go, 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 Special Part 3, aiming to fully cover Saturn's hidden techniques. Finally, on page 26, a special report section lists several games being featured. These include Island Story of Setsu Wind, Sonic Jam, Panzer Dragoon Saga, listed as Azel Panzer Dragoon RPG, Real Sound Kaze No Regret, Super Robot Wars F, and Waku Waku 7. The page also features 3 images of Tails the Fox, possibly hinting at content related to Sonic Jam, or just general Sega mascot appeal. This Sega Saturn magazine issue provides a flurry of updates. New release titles include Twinkle Star Sprites, MechaWarrior 2, and Lupin the Third Chronicle. Coming soon soft highlights Zero Yan Champ Duzage Typer, Momotaro Daikiden, Senkyo no Bisho, and Skull Fang, Kuga Sengaiden, among others. Guides are available for Underclass Student and Groove on Fight. Virtuaron Cover and Virtua Striker 2 also receive coverage, including details on an upcoming tournament. A comprehensive game index is provided, alphabetically listing titles like Panzer Dragoon Saga, Sonic Jam, and Waku Waku 7 with their corresponding page numbers for easy reference. This page talks about the popular Sakura Wars stage show, with the headline exclaiming, "There's still time to catch it." The article details ticket information and mentions that tickets for the final 5 performances are available. There's also a prize campaign linked to the digital magazine Gameware, where readers can win Sakura Wars, trading cards, and jigsaw puzzles. Moving on, there's news about a joint production between Sega and Bandai Visual called Time Leap, a movie that has just been completed. It stars Sato Ryoko and seems to be generating buzz with fans and media. Next, Sega Kara, the karaoke service, is starting to feature game advertisements. Currently, Virtua Striker 2 is being promoted, targeting both arcade and home console gamers. They also mention upcoming ads for Jawtive Battle Koshien, which will be promoted while people enjoy karaoke, allowing them to check out game info. Finally, there's a brief mention of digital dance mix software, featuring Amuro Nami's hit songs for Saturn, which is performing well in sales charts. It's suggested to master the dances and enjoy Sega Kara. This page previews several upcoming events and releases. Arcade games might be coming to Pentium 2 PCs, promising enhanced multiplayer and internet capabilities. Sega is offering a Shockwave demo, Tiny Nights, for Nights. The Science Research Institute is hosting Mark X2 i3D Space Experience, a virtual reality demo. The Bakusu Kyudai Let's and Go WGP movie releases July 5th, with a giveaway contest. A sentimental graffiti fan club is forming. Kanetsuki Mami will perform at Tower Records, Shibuya. New music releases include singles from Amuro Nami, Uchida Yuki, Nagasawa Yurika, and Hayashibara Megumi, plus albums by the Mods, Ginga ni Hoero, Falcom label, and Konami label. This page features Yumi Kobayashi, who is making her debut as a singer with Abyss. The page has an interview with her where she talks about her journey. She originally wanted to be a singer since middle school, and even became a beautician for a time at 19. She participated in the Asayan audition show, and successfully debuted. She mentions that there were no easy shortcuts to success. Interestingly, there's a Sega Saturn game related to her debut. It seems to be a manager simulation game where you become a manager. She even tried playing it herself and found it surprisingly challenging, especially when talents suddenly disappear. She mentions that being a talent manager is hard work, and suggests becoming a talent is easier. Yumi Kobayashi also mentions that she enjoys games like Street Fighter II and Virtua Fighter, saying she just mashes buttons but is surprisingly strong, and her brother gets annoyed by her skills. She enjoys playing games as a relaxing pastime, and thinks everyone should play more games. Her profile also mentions her hobby is fishing, and that she enjoys the Sega Saturn game, Sea Bass Fishing. Finally, at the bottom, there's a schedule of events for Abyss at various locations in Japan. This page presents the weekly top 15 sales chart for Sega Saturn software. Number 1 is Duke Yusei, an adventure game, noted for its popularity across genders. In second place is Mobile Battleship Nadesico, a mech simulation game, pondering if love will prevail. Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam takes the third spot, an action title commented on for its high difficulty. Other games in the top rankings include Professional Baseball Greatest 997, a baseball simulation game, Neon Genesis Evangelion Second Impression, an adventure game linked to the theatrical release of Air Sincerely Yours, and The Convenience Store, a simulation game where you aim to dominate the town, highlighting disaster and crime prevention elements. Further down the list are Stake Winner 2, a horse racing simulator, Tuge King the Spirits 2, a racing game emphasizing real mountain passes, and Neon Genesis Evangelion, New Package, another Evangelion title. Puzzle games like Puyo Puyo Sun and Sakura Wars columns also appear, along with titles like Free Studio Mari's Carefree Chat, Sky Target, Fighters Megamix, and Sakura Wars. The comments offer brief insights into each game, ranging from gameplay aspects to current trends and related events. This page presents two top rankings related to the Sega Saturn. The User Data Top 20 lists the games users most desire to see ported to the Saturn. Final Fantasy series leads, with Vampire Savior and Neon Genesis Evangelion, Girlfriend of Steel following. The list shows a desire for diverse genres, including RPGs, fighting games, and shooters. The Shop Data Top 15 highlights the top-selling arcade games. Virtua Fighter 3 is number 1, with Tekken 3 and Cyber Troopers Virtualon close behind. Other popular titles include Real Bout Fatal Fury Special and House of the Dead. Comment boxes on the page highlight specific games like Batsugun and Top Skater, along with brief descriptions of Tekken 3, Quiz My Angel 2, and Densha de Go. This page is all about the User Data Top 30 most anticipated Sega Saturn games. The top 3 are Grandia at number 1, which is an RPG from GameArts, with a question mark for its development progress. Number 2 is Super Robot Wars F, a Banpresto strategy RPG, shown with 60% development progress. Third place is Virtua Fighter 3, a Sega fighting game, at just 10% development. Below the top 3, there's a pickup check game section highlighting Sonic Jam, ranked 4th. This Sega title, releasing on June 20th, is at 98% development. It seems to be a collection of Sonic games with lots of extra material. Further down at 9th place is Slayers Royal 2, a RPG, at 70% development. The page mentions movie scenes and event scenes are being shown, and that we will soon get to see moving characters. The page includes a long list of games ranked from 4th to 30th place with their developers, release dates, and points. It also mentions a section called Other Check, coming soon, featuring Galaxy Fraulein Yuna, 3 Lightning Angel, and Eberouge. Eberouge has a screenshot showing a girl in an interior setting and some dialogue boxes. This page showcases the Reader's Race Volume 53, which is a reader's poll for Sega Saturn games. It's called All Soft Reader's Check and seems to be ranking games based on user votes. The page explains in the corner notes section that readers are rating Sega Saturn software on a 10-point scale, and the average score of all voters is published. They also collect comments on each game, which might be used in the magazine. They mention that only games with 10 or more votes are included to maintain reliability. The deadline for the current poll was May 29th. The top-ranked game is Download, Under 18 Limited Edition, which is described as maintaining its top position this week as well. The reviewer mentions that even games ranked 2nd to 4th are consistently achieving high scores in the 9-point range. There's a comment about SOQ, likely referring to a game, which seems to be gaining traction and might challenge for the top spot. The reviewer wonders if new releases can compete with the established titles. There are screenshots showing game scenes, including one with anime-style characters and text boxes. The page contains a large table listing numerous games with their ranks, previous ranks, titles, genres, and average scores. It appears to be a comprehensive ranking of many Sega Saturn games based on reader feedback, demonstrating the current popularity and ratings of various titles among Sega Saturn Magazine readers. Sega Saturn Reader's Race Volume 53 presents reader poll results, including new game reviews and rankings. New Challenger Introductions features 4 titles. Sangokushi Kumaiden, a strategy RPG, earned high marks but was considered niche by the reviewer. Puzzle Bobble 3 was fun but uninspired. Magical Hoppers, an action game, was praised for its nostalgic feel despite its old-fashioned password system. Super Casino Special, a table game, was criticized for its lack of excitement and confusing English instructions. Odds Table Saturn B continues game rankings from 179th to 289th. New single game introduction features 2 more games. Arthur to Astaroth no Nazomakai Mora, a puzzle game, was found enjoyable despite a slower start and darker tone. Mobile Battleship Nadesico, after all, is love the victorious one? Quote, an adventure game, was considered a solid title for fans, praised for its dating sim elements and voice acting, though some anime elements were lacking. This page continues. The SEGA Saturn Readers Race Volume 53 rankings, with the odds table Saturn C. We are still in the lower rankings, from 290th down to 483rd place. In the new arrival recommended horse introduction section, we have 2 new games being highlighted. First up is 3D Lemmings. The reviewer notes it's 3D Lemmings as expected, and you view the lemmings from an angled perspective, which is interesting. However, controlling the lemmings in 3D space is a bit cumbersome, making it feel like a different game entirely. The scores are a 4.5 average from all voters and a 6.33 average from this magazine's reviewers. Next is Genoir, a Doom-like 3D shooting game. The reviewer praises its freedom of movement and simple controls, making it accessible for beginners. However, they also mention that skilled players might find it easy to complete quickly. The scores are 3.6 from all voters and 6.33 from this magazine's reviewers. There are side panels discussing the odds table Saturn B, which questions whether we should still be watching the middle ranks. God Bard is highlighted as rising significantly, and Z Gundam is mentioned as falling in rank, suggesting a need for continued observation. Another side panel, Oz Table Saturn CB Evaluation, comments on Super Casino, which is apparently ranked in the B rating, and asks if it is still popular, noting that the rankings are still fluctuating. This page previews several SEGA Saturn games and features reader contests. Reviews include Gyakuto, Counterattack, a shooting game with a 4.33 score, Tokyo Shadow, criticized for its visuals but praised for its storyline, 6.66 score, and Deca 4WD Tough the Truck, a racing game focusing on off-road experience, 5.33 score. The page also includes a reader ranking of SEGA Saturn peripherals and reader opinions on game features. Contests encourage readers to predict game rankings for Groove on Fight and the average score for The Unsolved, with prizes including memory cards, joysticks, and Saturn games. This page showcases Enix's highly anticipated first title for the Saturn, Terra Fantasia, which is subtitled Zetsa-Style Island Story. The game is described as a fantasy adventure that character designer and game designer Keita Amemiya, known for Zeiram and Cyber Ninja, has been conceptualizing for over 10 years. The development team is comprised of experienced creators. Gibro, responsible for planning, programming, and graphics, previously worked on the Wonder Project J series. Sound is by Buddy Zoo, and sound effects are handled by Mint, both known for their work on Enix titles such as Mystic Arc. Enix themselves are producing the game. The article highlights the game's beautiful visuals, emphasizing the detailed graphics and the intriguing character designs. They stress the level of detail, even mentioning individual leaves. Terra Fantasia is slated to be a single-player adventure game suitable for all ages, and at the time of writing, it was 60% complete and scheduled for release in the autumn, with the price yet to be determined. The page features a screenshot of a game scene with a large crab-like creature and another character, along with a map labeled Grass Field Surroundings, suggesting the game world's scope. The developers seem confident in delivering a visually impressive adventure experience on the SEGA Saturn. This page continues the introduction to Enix's Saturn debut game, Terra Fantasia, Zetsa-Style Island Story. It highlights the main character, Dry Garp, who is described as a small dragon with a long tail. The article paints him as an endearing character with expressive animations, emphasizing how players will control Garp and experience adventures on this unique island. The page also delves into the game's development, mentioning that the anime-like movie scenes use stop-motion animation with real dolls. It seems the developers are putting a lot of effort into visual presentation. In a section titled Hitmaker Enix's Trajectory, the page briefly touches upon Enix's history, highlighting their success starting from PC software in 1982, and their significant impact on the RPG genre, particularly with the Dragon Quest series. They also mention Soul Blazer, emphasizing Enix's knack for creative and unique action RPGs, positioning Terra Fantasia within this lineage of innovative titles. This page is titled Green Mysterious World with 7 and continues the introduction to Terra Fantasia. It dives into the game's world and story. The world is described as existing somewhere, an island with unique customs and languages where players control drive, GARP, implying action-oriented gameplay with smooth character movement. The story section explains, the island is filled with wonderful tales, but a black wind has erased them all. Dr. Garp arrives to create new stories, making the game's objective story-driven. It mentions the opening scene might resemble an old picture book, hinting at the game's presentation style. The page highlights the game's graphics as detailed and beautiful, noting the animation of trees swaying in the wind and animated backgrounds. It reiterates that the cutscenes utilize stop-motion animation with dolls, creating a unique and warm visual experience, comparing the moon to something out of a European fairy tale and emphasizing the fantastical world. The reviewer is impressed by the attention to detail and the distinct atmosphere created by the real doll animation. They point out that quirky characters like a rabbit-like creature will definitely appear in the main game, making the unique presentation a key point of interest. This page continues introducing Terra Fantasia and focuses on the game's characters, calling them charming inhabitants. It highlights that these characters, who assist, drive GARP, the player character, are quite distinctive and spark imagination. The text mentions that their movements in the game are created using multi-joint animation, a technique by illustrator Amemiya Kita, which makes them appear lively, almost like they're moving illustrations. The page shows various character designs, a blue, cartoonish creature with a symbol on its chest, a bird-like character wearing a hat and tie, and a rock-like creature with a gemstone. There are screenshots depicting scenes inside a house, showing a cozy, lived-in interior, and outdoor environments like a tree with a face and what looks like a cave or underground area. The text mentions the game's origin as Amemiya Kita's work, Tooth and Nail Country Tale, published in B Club magazine. It explains that Terra Fantasia is based on episodes where the protagonist, Drive Garp, experiences adventures in the world of Tooth and Nail Country. The game aims to recreate the beautiful world and story of the original work with detailed graphics. It notes that the full series of Tooth and Nail Country Tale is collected in a book called Tooth, published in 1992, but is unfortunately now out of print. The page ends by expressing regret that it might be hard to find now in bookstores, and that people who want to see it might have to search for it. Amemiya Keita, creator, character designer, and supervisor of the Seven-Bladed Beast story, discusses his involvement in the project. He reveals his passion for fantasy stems from a love for the genre, predating his work in special effects. The game's world has been brewing for 2 decades, starting as character sketches in high school. Adapting these designs for the game involves some revisions. The story's core inspiration is Peter Pan, particularly the emotional impact of the scene where Tinkerbell's fate hinges on belief. This experience sparked his interest in interactive, storybook-like experiences found in old fairy tales. He finds inspiration in the unexpected and considers classic tales a key influence. The article includes screenshots of the game, showcasing a blue creature and a dragon, and highlights the enduring design of Dr. Garp, demonstrating the director's clear vision. This page continues the interview with Amemiya Keita, where he elaborates on his game design philosophy for Seven-Bladed Beast story. He emphasizes that his priority is not just delivering a message through the game, but focusing on the emotional experience and lasting impression it leaves on the player. He wants players to contemplate what they think and feel after playing, rather than just focusing on gameplay mechanics. Amemiya describes his team's dedication and focus in creating the game, and expresses a strong sense of unity and positive working relationship with them. He sees the game as a world where players can immerse themselves, a kind of boxed garden. He envisions gameplay beyond typical RPG combat, where players can engage in activities like catching insects, making specimen collections, fishing, gathering parts to build vehicles, race, and even play musical instruments. The page features close-up photos of Amemiya and screenshots from Seven-Bladed Beast story. One screenshot shows a dark, stylized scene with unique text using fonts designed by Amiya to resemble ancient Japanese script. Another shows cartoonish characters and landscapes, showcasing the blend of creature and insect-inspired designs that are central to the game's world, much like the iconic Drive Garp character previously mentioned. In essence, Amiya aims to craft a deeply engaging and emotionally resonant game experience with Seven-Bladed Beast Story, prioritizing player feeling and immersion in its unique world over simply conveying a plot message. This page continues the discussion on the game Gilvarado, still focusing on the picture book-like 2D visuals that Amemiya Keita is aiming for. The interview now shifts to the production staff, specifically highlighting how Mega Drive-era techniques have been used to achieve detailed expressions in the game. The interview features Hayakawa Naoyuki, the character graphics artist, and Wakatsuki Yasuo, the background graphics artist. Hayakawa explains that for character animation, they are using a multi-joint system similar to what was used in Majin Saga to create smooth and realistic movements, even allowing characters to turn and face different directions naturally. He emphasizes the attention to detail and making the characters feel alive and move realistically on screen. Wakatsuki talks about the backgrounds, aiming to create beautiful and immersive environments. He mentions that the backgrounds are designed to feel almost like they are breathing, and that they even held auditions to find animators who could perfectly capture Amemiya's artistic vision. Both artists emphasize that all the graphics are meticulously checked by Amiya himself, especially the color palettes, which are repeatedly refined. The page highlights that the worldview of Gilvarado is based on Amiya's Strange Tale record collection, emphasizing the faithfulness in recreating his unique world within the game. The screenshots showcase the detailed and stylized 2D graphics, with vibrant colors and intricate character and background designs, reflecting the picture book aesthetic mentioned earlier. This page continues discussing Gilvarado and its unique art style. The article highlights the multi-joint animation system used for the characters to make them move realistically, explaining how characters are broken down into parts for animation, similar to the techniques used in Majin Saga. The smoothness of the animations is really emphasized here, even down to details like the wobble of body fat. The developers wanted to create a sense of a living world in Gilvarado, describing it as a miniature garden, representing director Amemiya's vision. They talk about how the characters communicate in a unique language that players won't directly understand, instead relying on a narrator to convey the meaning of their dialogue, almost like a translator. This was done to create a sense of immersion and otherworldliness. The article also mentions that the know-how for this multi-joint animation system came from the Mega Drive-era game Majin Saga, which was a popular action game developed and released by Sega. The article credits this technique for making the characters in Gilvarado feel more alive, and for being a significant advancement in action game visuals at the time. Finally, the page introduces the game's key staff. Norihiro Sawada as the game designer, responsible for scenario and event details, and Noriyuki Tomiyama, the programmer and president of G-Pro. Sawada is described as making the story dramatically engaging, while Tomiyama aims to create a high-quality product that satisfies users and reflects Amiya's creative vision. This page continues the discussion about Gilvarado, focusing on how the Saturn hardware enables their vision for the game. They emphasize that they chose the Saturn because its CryDROM capacity allows for much more detailed graphics compared to cartridge-based systems. They mention that creating large, detailed characters and backgrounds really pushes the memory limits, which is what director Amiya desires. The team wanted to create a game that players can enjoy slowly and leisurely, not rushing through it. They talk about the sound design, mentioning that music isn't constantly playing, instead focusing on ambient sounds, like flowing water and rustling leaves to enhance the natural environments. They also touch on the visuals again, highlighting that even though 3D polygon graphics are becoming mainstream, they are deliberately sticking with detailed 2D graphics. They believe this style, honed from their experience since the Mega Drive era, is still beautiful and worth pursuing on the Saturn. They want players to appreciate the detailed backgrounds and the story, inviting players to slowly unravel the mysteries of the world and characters like Garp Hakase. The page also briefly showcases screenshots from Gilvarado itself, alongside Wonder Project J2 and EVO Search for Eden, 46 Okunen Monogatari, from the same company, G-Pro. They conclude by expressing their confidence in delivering a fantastic game, encouraging players to try it out without prejudice and look forward to its release. This page is all about Sonic Jam for the SEGA Saturn. It's screaming from the rooftops about the upcoming release, highlighting that the development is 98% complete and it's hitting Japanese stores on June 20th for 4,800 yen. The page emphasizes that Sonic World, the 3D element of the game, is finally ready to be shown and experienced. They've included some screenshots of Sonic World, showing off the 3D environments and gameplay. There's also a peek at the menu screen showing options like Sonic, Sonic and Miles, Sonic and Friends, and Exit, suggesting different ways to play. The page features comments from Sonic Team, specifically about the challenges of getting the camera angles right in Sonic World. They mention the difficulty in making sure everything is visible and looks good, especially when things get close to the camera. They talk about tweaking colors in water areas and making sure Sonic's movement, even the stretching of his spines when running fast, looks right. There's also a section discussing the cover art of the magazine. Apparently, Sonic himself is a character who embodies design, so they aimed for a striking cover. They mention using jam as a package design motif and expressing Sonic in a slightly American comic book style for the cover, acknowledging it might make the text a bit cramped, but capturing the overall Sonic feel was the priority. The designer, Usi Kakawa, says they were allowed to draw it this way, to prioritize that feeling. Sonic Jam features a Sonic World area with 5 explorable buildings. This article highlights 3 of them. The art gallery showcases Sonic-related visuals, illustrations, and artwork, divided into categories like Sonic Solo, Sonic and Tails, and Sonic and Friends. Players can browse these original pieces. The article also details the game selection system, where players can choose from the 4 main Sonic games and adjust difficulty and time limits. Finally, it explains the save system. While Sonic 3 and Knuckles have full save capabilities, Sonic 1 and 2 automatically save at the end of each stage, allowing players to resume their progress, a valuable feature even if not a full save system. Sonic Jam's Sonic World offers interactive areas. The character house displays artwork, while the music shop features iconic game soundtracks from Sonic 1 to Sonic and Knuckles. New features include a stopwatch for time trials, challenging players to collect rings and hit markers, and a monitor panel with hints for hidden secrets. Game modes vary significantly. Normal mode simplifies gameplay with added elements. Original mode accurately recreates the difficulty of the Genesis games. Easy mode lowers the number of acts and weakens bosses. The game also hints at the inclusion of hidden techniques from the original games. The next article will explore the movie theater and Hall of Fame. This page unveils the secrets of Dragon evolution in Panzer Dragoon Saga. It highlights the model change system as a key element of Dragon development, distinct from the previously mentioned type select. Model change is described as a vertical evolution, meaning your dragon will evolve into more powerful forms as you progress through the game's story. Unlike other games, this evolution isn't tied to stats or levels, but rather to key story events and boss encounters. The article emphasizes that this is a unique system in Panzer Dragoon Saga, allowing for a multitude of dragon variations branching out from the starting Model Zero dragon that protagonist Edge encounters early on. The reviewer seems impressed by the depth of this system, suggesting that the dragon's evolution adds significant replayability and strategic depth to the game, questioning just how far the dragon can ultimately evolve. Panzer Dragoon Saga's dragon evolution, driven by the model change system, goes beyond mere stat boosts. Each transformation, from Model 3 onward, is a narrative event, signified by the dragon's color shift to blue, and culminates in a grand, visually impressive final form. The gameplay loop involves exploring, battling, and defeating field bosses, which triggers a model change, leveling up the dragon and granting new abilities. Type Select allows for customization. The page highlights 4 models. Model 1, a colorful upgrade from Model 0. Model 2, the familiar dragon form with 5 initial types. Model 3, marking a significant story progression. And Model 4, the most advanced and beautiful form, shrouded in mystery. The reviewer anticipates stunning visual presentations during the model changes, emphasizing the deep integration of dragon evolution with the game's story. This page delves deeper into the dragon evolution mechanics of Panzer Dragoon Saga, focusing on what's called model change. It highlights 2 main ways your dragon evolves. Firstly, there's Type Select, where you can choose from 5 initial Model 1 dragon types: Standard, Attack, Defense, Skill, and Mobility. These are described as more advanced forms than the dragon previously shown, suggesting a starting point for evolution. The real game changer is model change, which is presented as a dramatic leap in power, much bigger than typical RPG leveling. It's triggered by story events, like boss battles, and not just grinding experience. Model change drastically alters your dragon, giving it new abilities and even changing its appearance. We see examples like Laser Level Up, which visually changes the dragon's laser attack, and Increase in each ability, which shows boosted stats like attack, defense, skill, and mobility. The page also contrasts model change with standard experience-based leveling. While regular level-ups improve core stats, they don't grant the significant, scenario-linked upgrades of model change. It's emphasized that model change is a unique and more impactful system. We get a glimpse of Mobility Type Model 2 and Mobility Type Model 3 further down the page, hinting at the continuing transformations and anticipating even more visually impressive and powerful dragon forms beyond what has been revealed so far, suggesting the dragon's final forms are still a mystery. Panzer Dragoon Saga's developers discussed the dragon's evolution, model change, throughout the game, a core gameplay mechanic. The dragon's form changes dramatically based on battles fought, unlocking new areas and treasures. This evolution is tied to progression and new abilities, streamlining the action. Visually, the dragon undergoes unpredictable morphing changes, with an emphasis on enhancing colors to enrich the game's atmosphere. The aim is a showy design, where even color adjustments utilize morphing. A staff-made movie showcases the dragon's many forms, hinting at substantial content. The developers confirm that the detailed CG models will be present in the gameplay, directly addressing player concerns and highlighting the dragon's evolution and visual fidelity as major selling points. This page announces the upcoming release of Real Sound: Wind's Regret, which is set to launch on July 18th. This is highlighted as a major scoop and described as the culmination of Real Sound. It's an interactive sound drama, coming on 3 CRADs, priced at 6,400 yen. The page is an intermediate report featuring comments from Ino Kenji, likely the director, about the development process. He explains the core concept involves using a joystick to position sound sources in 3D space, emphasizing how sounds are perceived by the player. He humorously mentions the intense work schedule, sleeping only around 2 hours a day, and even having to nap during meal breaks. He points out the project is quite expensive, even for a lavish production, highlighting the dedication involved. Pirno reveals they're aiming for a high level of realism, to the point where the sound is indistinguishable from reality, even when listening on headphones at high volume. He gives examples of how ambient sounds are being meticulously recreated, like the sound of a drinking establishment sounding authentically like one, or trains and ocean sounds being location-specific. He mentions recording everything on location, and even finds the background character dialogue interesting. The development seems intense, but they are pushing the boundaries of 3D audio for a truly immersive experience. He also mentions using XTC's guitarist, Deep Gregory, and recording at Abbey Road Studios to achieve the desired sound quality. This page details the development of Real Sound, emphasizing the importance of reader feedback. Ino Kenji discusses consumer testing, potential delays, and ignores negative press. He hopes for long-term success alongside titles like IQ. The development's intensity is high, even exceeding expectations, with financial losses expected for the first game, despite preparations for sequels. The page then features Real Sound coding engineer Okawa Masayoshi. Okawa, known for film and music work, including collaborations with Miyazaki and Joe Hisaishi, aims for immersive soundscapes where imagination exceeds images. He utilizes a 6-speaker setup for a cinematic experience, even with headphones. The sound recording process involves on-location capture, stereo recording, and careful consideration of the recording space. Okawa praises Ishino's meticulous direction and the project's innovative use of sound. This page is a big announcement for Super Robot Wars, declaring 4 big reveals. It's promoting new Super Robot Wars and highlights the new graphics for the main characters, designed by Kawano Sachiko, alongside the older designs from Fuzikawa Tomonori. Players can choose between these graphic styles during character setup. The voice acting is also mentioned, with 8 voice actors for the characters, emphasizing the combination of graphics and voices for customization. The page suggests clearing the game 16 times to unlock everything. There are profiles for 2 characters. Lenin Jedge's Star Road, voiced by Nanba Keiichi, a 19-year-old male, blood type O, nicknamed Jess, who is described as righteous, with a strong sense of duty, but a bit of a simpleton. The other character is Patricia Huckman, voiced by Hayashibara Megumi, a 19-year-old female, blood type A, nicknamed Pat, portrayed as disliking being controlled, seemingly childish but actually caring, with strong determination and a love for cooking. The game is a simulation game for one player, priced at 6,800 yen, releasing on July 25th, published by Bampresto. The producer's message mentions that the new designs are aimed at fans, with cool male characters and cute female characters, encouraging players to choose their favorites, and highlighting that voice acting can significantly change the character's impression. There are screenshots showcasing gameplay with both character art styles. The next page introduces the characters for new Super Robot Wars, showcasing character art from Huzikawa Tomonori. It seems to be focusing on personality types, grouping characters under headings like theoretician but likes the opposite sex, which applies to Irungaruto Kazuhara, voiced by Horinuchi Kenyu, who is described as principled and eloquent but enjoys female company, and Grace Urigin, voiced by Miyamura Yuko, who is intelligent and logical, though can be sharp-tongued and mischievous. Then there's a section for slightly strange personalities, featuring Hector Madison, voiced by Ishino Ryuzo, who appears goofy and honest but is cunning and a mood-maker with a taste for classic Japanese comedy, and Mina Reichring, voiced by Hidaka Noriko, who seems insightful but is actually spacey, and an airhead obsessed with mysteries, despite having bad intuition. Finally, the cool and nihilistic section highlights Erwin Du Stein, voiced by Seki Toshihiko, a cool and knowledgeable but haughty character who avoids people, particularly women, due to past trauma, and Rin Mao, voiced by Yuki Mayemi, a fiercely competitive and thorough woman who hates losing and is sensitive about gender issues, also loves animals, especially cats. It's a page dedicated to giving you a glimpse into the diverse personalities you'll encounter in the game. New Super Robot Wars is enhancing its visuals with improved animation quality, especially in battle cut-ins. Mazinkaiser, Grungust, and Shingetter will feature fully CG launch sequences. Evangelion Unit 01 launch scenes, along with others from Mazinger Z and Dunker Egg, will use original movie footage. A new dramatic voice event, DVE, system adds voiced dialogue to strategic map events. This includes character introductions and key interactions, like Camille vs. Jared. The DVE system aims to increase emotional depth and engagement by responding to player feedback. This page is a reader submission section for Super Robot Wars Feni, featuring different categories for fan contributions. The Hot-Blooded department showcases passionate messages and illustrations related to favorite characters and robots. One reader expresses their love for Bilbine from Aura Battler Dunbine, and another for Ga Ha Leshen from Elgame. The Powerless department presents humorous 4-panel comics or short stories. One comic strip features Amuro and Shinora from Gundam, while another seems to be a more original humorous story. The Lucky department answers a question about the meaning of the special move Kito Rasetsuken Ankansatsu from Super Robot Wars, explaining it's related to fortune-telling terms. The Spirited department is an illustration gallery featuring fan art. Examples include a Gundam illustration and another featuring Zambot 3. Finally, there's a call for postcard submissions for various categories like Hot-Blooded department, Spirited department, Powerless department, Lucky department, and Anything OK department. The page also lists winners from previous submissions and provides the address for sending postcards to SEGA Saturn Magazine. This page is bursting with excitement for the Saturn release of Waku Waku 7. The page is shouting, "Exciting! Waku Waku! Full of energy!" for this special report, boasting a 90% completion for the Saturn version. It seems like the game revolves around collecting these Waku Waku balls that can grant any wish, leading to a big scramble and battles among those who obtain them. This Saturn version of Waku Waku 7, a versus action game, is set to release on June 20, 1997, priced at 7,800 yen with a RAM cartridge, or 5,800 yen for just the software. Highlighted as being suitable for all ages and requiring a RAM expansion. The Saturn edition is packing in original content with a "yeah" of excitement. Apparently, on the Saturn you can play right from the start as Bonus Kun and Fernandez, characters who weren't playable in the original Neo Geo arcade versions. Screenshots show off matches like Bonus Kun against Tessay and Marun vs. Rai, And another image shows Tessei in a stadium setting, while Marun is battling some kind of mysterious, black pole-like figure. The whole page conveys a high-energy build-up for the Saturn release and its exclusive features. This page is all about the exciting character roster of Waku Waku 7 on the Saturn. It asks, from the giant demon world emperor to the maid robot, who would you choose? It introduces several characters with, now loading, screens, and in-game action shots. First up is Bonus Kun, described as a seasoned martial artist seeking a strong opponent and appearing in Waku Waku City. Then there's Fernandez, the great demon world emperor, who is massive and was sealed in a park, now causing chaos. Marina is presented as a cheerful and athletic high school girl, known for her speedy attacks and easy-to-use techniques. Rai is the adventurous middle schooler who loves mountains and bikes, fighting with his skills on a mountain bike. Marun is a large, forest-dwelling animal who understands human speech and fights for a lost old lady. Lastly, Tessei Lombroso, a maid robot built by Dr. Lombroso, fights to cure her ill creator. The page emphasizes that the Saturn version boasts a brand new character selection screen. It mentions these character illustrations are newly drawn specifically for the Saturn and appear during loading screens when you fight against the CPU. There are apparently two patterns of these loading screens. The article suggests these cute illustrations might even make the loading times feel shorter. The overall feeling is that the Saturn version is really sprucing up the character presentation and adding exclusive content. This page explores the gameplay mechanics of Waku Waku 7, specifically the Waku Waku gauge system, crucial for executing powerful attacks. It introduces three new characters: Politank Z, a comical robot; Dandage, a gun-wielding fighter; and Slash, a swordsman, utilizing sword skills and magic. Each character's unique fighting style is showcased. The core of the combat system revolves around filling the Waku Waku gauge by performing special moves. Once full, players can accumulate Waku Waku balls to fuel various strong attacks. These include the Doki Doki attack, a strong special move; the Parahara attack, a super move with a warning sign; super mode activation, which enhances attack and defense; and his Satsuwaza power-up, which strengthens special moves. The system emphasizes strategic use of the gauge for devastating attacks and power-ups, adding depth to the fighting experience. This page delves deeper into the gameplay of Waku Waku 7, explaining how to recover from knockdowns and escape throws, vital skills for any fighting game. It highlights the different attack options using punch and kick buttons, showing how you can use stage walls to bounce back and counterattack after being launched. The page then introduces unique modes for the Saturn version, starting with USR versus USR, a standard player versus player mode but with customizable options like attack power and stage selection. It also features a COM versus COM mode, where you can watch CPU characters battle each other, a rarity in fighting games, allowing you to observe different strategies. Finally, it touches upon versus mode options, where you can tweak gameplay further. This includes POW charge mode, which impacts how the Waku Waku gauge charges, and VS stage, letting you choose your preferred stage for the fight, even the final boss stage. It seems the Saturn version offers a good range of customization for versus battles. This page is all about a quirky gameplay mechanic in Nights into Dreams called Pipian Tower Creation. It seems you can breed these creatures called Pipian to build towers. The page breaks down the process into two steps. First, creating regular Pian. Apparently, you need to find Mepian, which are like Nightmare versions of Pian, and then use Knight's Drill Dash move to bump into Mepian eggs. This creates the basic Pian. The second step is creating Super Pian. These are born from crossbreeding Mepian and Pian. The guide suggests gathering lots of Pian parts to increase your chances of getting Super Pian, and that stronger bloodlines make for better Super Pian. There's even a Pian mini encyclopedia describing three types: Night Pian, Mepian, and Super Pian. Night Pians are described as weak and short-lived. Mepians are hybrids, strong breeders, but disliked by normal Pians. Super Pians are the ultimate ones, living longer, attacking Nightmarans, and directing other Pians to build these towers. The page uses screenshots from Nights into Dreams to illustrate these points, and there's a funny image of someone pretending to bite a SEGA Saturn console, maybe a humorous take on being engrossed in the game. Overall, it's a deep dive into a peculiar and interesting side of Nights into Dreams gameplay.
Pyrrhian towers in Nights into Dreams are built by Super Pyrrhians, who recruit other Pyrrhians to construct them over 6 stages. Even if a Super Pyrrhian dies, the tower continues as long as Pyrrhians survive, with a new Super Pyrrhian continuing the work. The paraloop technique is crucial, and players must avoid Knights loops. Troubleshooting tips for struggling players include ensuring all Miwetipians are defeated, controlling Miwetipian numbers, confirming Pian survival, monitoring blood Miwetipian, checking Pian/Miwetipian gathering locations, verifying Super Pian birth/survival, and preventing species extinction. Developers emphasize Pians are dream beings lacking will, while Super Pians build playgrounds. They note Pians avoid direct approach and suggest creating them in groups. Too many Pians in one spot can be detrimental. If a Super Pian doesn't appear, Minipian management may be the issue. A completed Pian tower represents its final form. This page dives into tips and tricks for achieving top scores in Virtua Fighter 3 and dominating in Scud Race. For Virtua Fighter 3, it highlights the elusive top ranks above Master, revealing Superhuman and Immortal ranks that require scores of 900,000 and an even higher unspecified score respectively. The page emphasizes achieving these ranks isn't just about points, but also about skillful play, clearing all stages, using powerful moves, avoiding continues, and aiming for quick knockouts. There's a section dedicated to a needle bullet technique in Virtua Fighter 3, mentioning a challenge at AM2 Research to see how many times this move could be performed, with a record of 136 times achieved. The page gives quick tips for Virtua Fighter 3, reinforcing the need to clear all stages, use strong moves, no continues, and fast haikos. Moving on to Scud Race, the article explores the fun of forward versus reverse races, suggesting reverse races can be surprisingly enjoyable. It also delves into a tactic of retiring opponent cars to secure first place in Scud Race. Apparently, bumping other cars into corners or during drifts can cause them to retire, and if you manage to retire all of them, you might automatically get first place. Quite the pro gamer strategy. Developers chime in suggesting trying this on medium difficulty courses and mentioning damage and endurance data for cars. This article explores unique SEGA Saturn gameplay experiences. Virtua Cop's training mode is surprisingly fun even against a mouse. With random target appearances and a balanced experience, the developers unexpectedly polished the training mode, even balancing gun versus mouse gameplay. Virtua Cop 2's two-gun style is assessed. While initially tiring, with each gun weighing 350 grams and start button presses surprisingly difficult, it's ultimately fun due to rapid-fire shooting. Developers felt the second game was better suited for this style. Finally, Cybertroopers Virtualon's lack of handle controller support is discussed. Fans desired a handle controller for robot simulation, like in the anime Combat Mecha X-A Bungle. However, the developers prioritized the twin-stick control scheme to directly simulate robot manipulation, concluding a handle would detract from the experience. The next page continues to explore SEGA Saturn gameplay, this time focusing on creating the ultimate team and unusual gameplay challenges. Firstly, it highlights J.League Pro Soccer Club, O Tsukuru. Let's make a J.League Pro Soccer Club. Giving out passwords for incredibly strong teams created by SEGA staff and Saturn Fan magazine editors. These passwords, named SEGA Nankun Strongest Team, Saturn Fan Editorial Department Strongest Team, and Saitama Magazine Editorial Department Strongest Team, are presented for players who want to skip the team-building grind and jump straight into challenging matches. Next, it touches on Real Sound, Cause No Regret, Real Sound, Wind Regret, emphasizing the unique real sound play aspect of this game. It seems to suggest enjoying the game through its audio, likely referring to its innovative gameplay, where you play without relying on visuals. Finally, the page introduces a peculiar challenge for Greatest 9, a baseball game. The goal? To hit a home run of 0 meters. It suggests that this is surprisingly difficult, and recommends using weak batters and focusing on bunt hitting to achieve this incredibly short home run. The article even mentions that getting a 0 meters home run took them 5 hours. It seems to be a fun, unconventional way to play and master the game. This page details unconventional gameplay challenges for SEGA Saturn titles, primarily Sakura Taisen and Fantasy Zone. Sakura Taisen challenges include defeating the Genki enemy solely with Kana,
rated B but practically A-level difficulty, and defeating enemies with only long-range attacks, utilizing level geometry. Another challenge in Sakura Taisen involves intentionally alienating all other characters by making deliberately poor choices, leading to a surprisingly demanding experience. Further, it challenges players to exceed the developer's score in the Hanafuda card game, with Kurenai. For Fantasy Zone, a daunting challenge arises, completing the game without shop purchases. The page states this is nearly impossible, particularly against the final boss. The suggested compromise is playing without purchases until the final boss, where a single jet engine purchase is allowed, requiring careful enemy management and a calm approach to boss battles. This text highlights unique gameplay challenges for various SEGA Saturn titles. Virtuoso Play encourages unconventional control schemes for Panzer Dragoon games. Fighters Megamix's Command Master Training pushes players to master the training mode quickly using all characters, with the developers themselves aiming for top speeds and offering prizes. Panty Collection is a man's romance for Blue Seed tasks players with finding all 30 hidden panties, with rewards for completion. Lastly, Approach the Secret of Rainbow Uncle with amulets. In Magic Knight, Rayearth challenges players to collect all 64 amulets to unlock a secret, emphasizing thorough exploration and persistence. This SEGA Saturn feature highlights unique gameplay challenges. For Advanced World War, Steel Empire's Succession, players are encouraged to play only as infantry, leveraging their surprising strength, or to solely use aircraft to capture the enemy HQ. Clockwork Knight, Pepperushow's Fortune Bag, challenges players to score a phantom 1 million points in Stage 21, emphasizing speed and efficiency. Advanced World War, 1000 Years of Imperial Glory, encourages players to collect all 22 general skills to showcase strategic depth. Finally, Clockwork Knight returns with a speedrunning challenge in Circuit, offering racing-style tips like cornering techniques to improve times. The overall aim is to push the game's limits, explore alternative strategies, and discover hidden gameplay aspects. This page reviews 3 SEGA Saturn game features. The first article discusses collecting bromides in Lunar Silver Star Story, a fun challenge involving specific in-game events and locations. The second article explores how save data from Tokimeki Memorial influences police connaughts, adding personalized elements like character details and hidden dialogues related to Tokimeki. This offers a unique experience for players of both games. Finally, a section on Puyo Puyo Sun provides gameplay tips, particularly on defeating the final boss, Abzout, and encourages players to intentionally lose on each map to hear all the unique losing lines. This SEGA Saturn special feature highlights the unlock methods for Guki, Akuma, across 7 Capcom fighting games. Methods vary significantly. In Cyberbots, it's simply clearing the game on difficulty level 4 or higher without continues. Street Fighter 02 uses a specific command at the start screen. X-Men Children of the Atom has complex character selection and button press sequences for 1P and 2P, plus CPU unlock requirements. Street Fighter 2 movie features a rare Guki encounter in India. Street Fighter 0 needs the difficulty set to 5, and requires defeating the last boss and Guki without continues. Street Fighter the movie requires clearing Street Battle without continues and entering a specific code in Movie Battle mode. Finally, Super Puzzle Fighter 2X uses character selections and button press sequences, depending on which side you play. The article concludes by encouraging players to become Raging Demon Masters. This guide explores unique ways to experience SEGA Saturn games. Mood is Real Sound highlights real sound. K's No Regret, encouraging headphone use, and even a screen-off experience, relying on sound for gameplay. 2P Battle Alone suggests playing Suganai, Atonement Solo, controlling both sides in a versus match using 2 controllers, and recommends a slower game speed. Today's Fortune Goddess Lucky Fortune details using Vap Breeder and Saymate for fortune-telling, interpreting in-game outcomes as predictions, offering messages like Lucky Day or Big Bad Luck. Lastly, Challenge Even More Amazing Stages reveals how to unlock a difficult, special stage in Roadrunner by entering a specific code in construction mode. This article highlights unconventional ways to experience SEGA Saturn games. One Hit Kill True Sword Match for Samurai Showdown emphasizes high-stakes combat with one-hit kills, banning special moves. Sophia Instructor's Erotic Tutoring. Is this a love simulation?
In Metal Slug uncovers a hidden love simulation by observing the instructor's changing reactions in the combat school based on your performance. Which lord to choose? Rampage and Riot. For King of Fighters, 95 encourages chaotic, offensive battles with throws, disabling jump attacks. Finally, developers' true feelings and secret graphics get reveals hidden content on Saturn CD-ROMs, such as developer comments and image data. Accessible by exploring files like TXT, DOC, and BMP using PC software. Games like Fighting Vipers, Virtua Cop 2, and Panzer Dragoons Y are mentioned as potentially having this hidden content, encouraging players to explore. This page highlights several strategy guides and supplementary books for various SEGA Saturn titles. At the top, there's an setting material collection for the Gundam side story games, promising a deep dive into the world with character profiles, mobile suit viewers, stories, an exam report, development history, staff interviews, and goods reviews. It seems to cover everything about this particular Gundam universe. Next to it, there's an ad for a perfect guide for Martian successor Nadesico game, emphasizing the theme of love and victory with character art and dialogue snippets. It looks like a guide focusing on the anime tie-in game, boasting a perfect guide to win. Below these, you'll find a perfect guide for Theme Park, a park management simulation game. This guide seems to cover all aspects of park building, from attractions and shops to staff management and effective layout strategies. Then, there's the Second Impression Bible for Neon Genesis Evangelion, Second Impression, noting its popularity with 180,000 copies already sold and is a reprint due to high demand. Finally, there's an official guide for Advanced World War, Wings of Destiny, a strategy game. This guide appears comprehensive, offering maps, unit data, weapon evolution charts, and general strategies. On the right side, there's a column listing upcoming guides for other games, including Zero Yan Champ Doozy Jij, Sega Touring Car Championship, Graduation Gens, Virtua Fighter 3, and Sakura Wars, all scheduled for release around June. This reader submission page covers a variety of topics. One section details a gamer excited for the Saturn version of Magical Drop, admitting significant arcade spend. Games this week highlights the acquisition of 6 Mark II games, including Enduro Racer, Alesti, and Afterburner, with praise given to Enduro Racer's gameplay. A Sega's C Corner features Sonic the Hedgehog, with a reader obsessed with Sonic images. This week's Beautiful Brotherly Love showcases Virtua Fighter fan art. Mr. Pixie Mura, the Saturn Business Department manager, is mentioned, with a reader hoping he's doing well. Finally, the Me section describes a friend's bizarre food combinations. This page features reader contributions dedicated to video game characters. Glass Love Letter showcases passionate messages. One to a purple dragon character, praising the game's female characters in battles. Another, a heartfelt confession to Pochi-sama from Baku Baku Animal, describing an in-game marriage and appreciating the character's design. A letter to Laura from Enemy Zero, admiring her courage and expressions. And a final letter to Raxel from Fighting Vipers, detailing the writer's appreciation for his fighting style and connection to the character. The page also includes a Great Recruitment Troubled Corner, soliciting submissions about game-related worries, and a Girls Talk Corner advertising Tactics Ogre with a cute witch illustration. The page concludes with fan art of Kaoru from Neon Genesis Evangelion with a mini Shinji, described as super cute. This text is a collection of short blurbs. One reader details their purchase of a limited edition sentimental graffiti item and potential card collection. Another section discusses the Virtual Chapel game, a wedding ceremony simulator where user data impacts in-game rewards, sparking opinions from readers. A comic strip, Comic DA, pokes fun at early 3D graphics with polygon apples. A humorous illustration, Resting Boy, depicts 2 states of mind. A short, cryptic submission, DX Hired, is included. And finally, Saikun the Unhappy Person details a reader's series of unfortunate events, including a burglary where Sega Saturn games were stolen, a subsequent illness, and overeating. This week's Dream Museum highlights reader artwork submissions. Sakura Marukun from Iwate Prefecture won this week's Best One for their magical drop art. Honorable mentions include Yuya Watanabe, Tokyo, with RPG-style art, Arai Takafumi, Kyoto, featuring Tomb Raiders, Hisa Izumi, Kanagawa, with a man's portrait, Chikurawabu, Kyoto, with romance game art. Yoshioka Takashi, Niigata, with X-Men vs Street Fighter art. Yuri Taro, Kyoto, with Groove on Fight art. Shirayuki, Okayama, featuring Popful Mail. And Seonoho, Osaka, inspired by Candy. Submissions should be drawn with black pens markers, legible text, and include personal details. Submissions are accepted at SEGA Saturn Magazine's DA department.
This page is a mail-order advertisement from a store called Santa, selling SEGA Saturn games and related items. They are advertising new and standard Saturn software, as well as games for older SEGA consoles like Mega Drive, Mega CD, 32X, and Game Gear. There's a large list of Saturn games, including new releases like Groove on Fight and Breakpoint, and popular titles like Afterburner 2, Virtual On, and Panzer Dragoon. They're also selling Saturn consoles, controllers, and accessories, like the Twin Stick and various AV cables. You can also find software for the 32X and Game Gear, with games like Star Wars, Arcade, and Sonic. The bottom of the page details how to order by phone or fax, payment methods such as cash on delivery or bank transfer, and postage costs, which are 400 yen within mainland Japan. This article, Continuing Shoutman, Big Birdhouse Director by Toru Takeda, analyzes Sega's business strategies alongside those of Sony and Nintendo, focusing on market dynamics, distribution, and price maintenance within the evolving Japanese economic landscape. Takeda, a business journalist, examines the impact of deregulation, citing comments from Sega's Hayao Nakayama and Sony's Nobuyuki Ide, who advocated for deregulation to promote fair competition and revitalize industries. The article details each company's approach. Sony's PlayStation initiated open price agreements and direct sales. Sega Saturn implemented price reductions. Nintendo 64, by contrast, didn't adopt special distributor countermeasures, focusing on cost reduction and production planning, ultimately leading to a price reduction. The piece highlights the Fair Trade Commission's investigations into resale price maintenance, emphasizing the key role of regulation changes in shaping the company's strategies and market competition. The conclusion looks towards future analysis and regulatory outcomes. This advertisement promotes a series of 4,DX comics, deluxe anthologies based on popular video games. Titles include Pocket Monsters 4,DX, Pokemon, featuring various authors. Nitoshinden 4,DX, Battle Arena Toshinden, a comical take on the fighting game. Super Real Mahjong PV Paradise All-Star 4-player battle anthology comic, focusing on the series characters. Nitoshinden 2 anthology comic, Battle Arena Toshinden 2, Blood Temple Priest Clan 2 just a little bit strongest legend anthology comic, likely Kid Dracula, promising humor, and Vampire Hunter Darkstalker's Revenge. All are 4 comics, a Japanese comic format, published by SoftBank, and are currently available. This page is focused on Sega prize goods for the month, introduced by Mukusan, the prize Tamdong person. He's highlighting Evangelion prizes, which are still very popular, like keychains and high-grade t-shirts. You can also try to win Last Bronx plush toys, Puyo Puyo-themed prizes linked to a championship, a fun sherbet maker, and even a Panman soundbanks. Mukusan mentions these prizes are mainly found in UFO catcher machines and are perfect for the summer season. For Sega news updates, they offered the Sega Joy telephone service, updated weekly and providing a quick 3-minute news call, and the monthly Sega Fax Club. You can see the phone and fax numbers listed for different regions if you were in Japan at the time. The page also mentions the Sega Video Magazine, showcasing game footage of titles such as Sonic Jam and Samurai Spirits, and the Flash SEGA Saturn Magazine, specifically Volume 16, which featured games like 3 Dirty Dwarves and Sonic 3D Blast. Finally, they provide details for accessing Sega content via PC and the Internet, along with website addresses. It seems like it was a great month for Sega fans looking to win some cool and exclusive prizes. 10 years after reviewing video formats, Sega's Mr. Takesaki, a self-proclaimed movie enthusiast, reminisces about his home cinema journey, from laserdiscs and DVDs to surround sound systems. He discusses the challenges of aspect ratio differences and the pursuit of replicating the cinema experience at home, even with the limitations of the technology. The Sega advertisement news section includes short comments. Nanunkun enjoys matcha shakes and uses folding fans. Gamer Miki notes office changes and craves seasonal food. New gamer Mari, a devoted Evangelion fan, details her movie viewings and Joyopolis visits. Finally, A big postcard recruitment section calls for reader submissions related to the Sega Saturn, offering prizes. The Sega Press Presents section offers a giveaway of Flash SEGA Saturn Volume 16, featuring Sonic and Amy. This page is the Sega Saturn Soft Data Bank, a comprehensive listing of games released for the console between November 1994 and November 1995. It's essentially a catalog showing release dates, game titles, manufacturers, prices, genres, reader and magazine reviewer scores, and peripheral compatibility. You can see a vast range of titles from the early days of the Saturn. Looking through the list, there are familiar names like Virtua Fighter, Myst, Daytona USA, and Street Fighter. The scores are presented numerically, giving you a quick glance at how each game was received by both readers and the magazine's reviewers. It's a great snapshot of the software available during that period, offering a sense of the variety of genres, from action and adventure to puzzle and simulation games. The data bank format makes it easy to compare titles and see which games were getting the highest ratings at the time. This page is another chunk of the Sega Saturn Soft Data Bank. It's pretty much the same layout as the last page, listing even more games released for the console. You can see all the details presented in columns like release dates, game titles, the companies that made them, prices, genres, and those reader and magazine reviewer scores, plus what peripherals they supported. Looking at the games here, you'll find popular titles like Virtua Fighter 2 and NBA Jam Tournament Edition, alongside other games from genres like action, puzzle, and simulations. The scores give you a quick idea of how well these games were received by both players and the magazine critics back in the day. It's really just a continuation of the software catalog, giving you a good overview of the Saturn's game library from around that time. This page continues the Sega Saturn Game Data Bank. It's in the same format as before, packed with info on more games. You'll see release dates, titles, who made them, prices, genres, and those scores from both readers and magazine reviewers, plus details on supported accessories. Looking at the games listed here, titles like Sonic Wings Special, Wipeout, and Saturn Bomberman jump out. It seems to cover a good mix of genres, from shoot-'em-ups and racing to puzzle and action games. The review scores offer a quick snapshot of how these games were received at the time, both by everyday players and the magazine's critics. It's essentially more of the Saturn's software catalog, offering a broad look at the game library from that period. This page continues with a large list of Sega Saturn games in a databank format. It's packed with game details like release dates, titles, developers, prices, genres, reader and magazine review scores, and what accessories are compatible. Looking through the list, you can spot a wide variety of games, from fighting games like Fighters, Megamix, and Shooters, to racing titles like Street Racer Extra and Daytona USA Circuit Edition. There's also puzzle games and action adventures like Tomb Raiders and Die Hard Trilogy. You can see a good mix of genres and some recognizable titles that were popular on the Saturn. The page is essentially a continuation of the game catalog, giving a broad look at the software available around that time, complete with a snapshot of what players and critics thought through their scores. This page continues the data bank index of Sega Saturn games. It's another list packed with game titles and associated numbers, likely software ins or page references within the magazine. The list continues to showcase the breadth of Saturn's library, with a mix of Japanese and internationally recognized titles. You can spot games from various genres: action, RPG, simulation, and puzzle games. There are entries for games like Civilization, Christmas Nights, and Street Fighter 02, showing a range from strategy to fighting games. It appears to be a direct continuation of the previous page, offering a further glimpse into the extensive Sega Saturn game catalog available at the time. This page continues the massive index of Sega Saturn games, alphabetically going through more titles. We're still in the TOS section, and it kicks off with Titan Wars. Then we see Time Gal and Ninja Hayate, Tactics Ogre, and Tama. Moving on, we have Dark Seed, Dark Savior, and then a bunch of Dai titles like Data Ride and Daiunkai Jidai 2. There's Die Hard Trilogy for action fans, and WWF in Your House for wrestling fans. Continuing on, we see games starting with Tay, including Deca 4 Tough the Truck, Daytona USA, Digital Dance Mix, Digital Pinball, Necronomicon, and Discrimzone. There's Destruction Derby for some vehicular mayhem and Death Mask. Dusei I is there, and then Doraemon games. Dragon Force and Dragon Ball Z also make an appearance. The list moves into Na titles now, featuring nights, including Christmas Nights and Nights into Dreams. We then have Nissan Presence Overdrive and GTR. The index continues into ni and no sections, with titles like Net Thermal Branch, Nobunaga's Ambition, and Nonsense Futsal. Finally, we see the Ha section beginning, with Heartbeat Scramble, High Octane, High School Terra Story, and Hyper 3D Baseball and Hyper Duel. We also see Hyper Reverthion and Haunted Casino. It's still a packed page showing the sheer volume of games available for the Saturn at the time. This page is an answer postcard for a SEGA Saturn Magazine reader survey. It's asking readers about themselves, their gaming habits, and their opinions on the current issue of the magazine. Questions range from basic demographics like gender, age, and occupation, to what SEGA Saturn hardware and software they own or plan to buy. They're also asked about their magazine reading habits and their opinions on the articles in the current issue, ranking which ones they found most and least interesting. The page includes lists of SEGA Saturn hardware and software options for readers to reference when filling out the survey. The hardware list includes not just the Saturn itself, but also add-ons and competing consoles of the time, such as Mega Drive, Super 32X, PCFX, Super Famicom, Neo Geo, Game Boy, Nintendo 64, PlayStation, 3DO, and many more. The software list is extensive, spanning a wide range of titles like Panzer Dragoon, RPG, Virus, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Dungeons & Dragons Collection, Desire, Guardian Heroes, Marvel Superheroes, and Lunar Eternal Blue, to name just a few. It's clear they're trying to gauge reader preferences and understand the current SEGA Saturn owner base. This page is part 3 of a special feature called Cheat Code A Go Go. It's continuing from the previous issue, and this time it's focusing on cheat codes, starting with the Japanese character Te. The writer starts off in a casual way, mentioning how writing "this time is" reminds them of English learning programs like Basic English and English for a Million People, and they're wondering what they're even talking about. The page is dominated by a cartoon illustration showing a bunch of terrified people reacting to something scary on a TV screen. On the TV, there's a character with a chainsaw and the word hello in a speech bubble, giving off a horror vibe. You can also see a SEGA Saturn console, cans of drinks labeled Emo and Coke, and the tagline at the bottom says, "The most fun you'll ever have being scared." On the right side, it mentions this is an Absolute Preservation Edition project that aims to completely cover all the cheat codes for the SEGA Saturn. The illustration is by Jerry, and this is page 81. This cheat code guide for SEGA Saturn games reveals various tricks. In DX Life Game, pressing A, B, and C allows for infinite shopping. Terra Fantastica offers camera controls for battle scenes. Basketball fans can manipulate teams and players in television anime Slam Dunk. Far East of Eden, the Apocalypse 4th features ways to gain wealth, max out MP, and trigger unique in-game events. Ogre Battle. The March of the Black Queen unveils hidden stages and time-speeding cheats. Tenchi Muyo. Gokuraku K-Drum increases items, while Tenchi Muyo, Renai Hitsuyu, provides cheats for game modes. Tenchi wo Kurao 2, Warriors of Fate, unlocks special moves. A general bonus mode unlock, using controller buttons at the title screen, grants access to bonus content and hidden characters for numerous games. This page provides cheat codes and hidden features for several SEGA Saturn games. General gameplay tips include super move commands for an unspecified action game. Specific games covered include a beat-em-up with hidden sword locations, Excalibur, Katana, Kusanagi, and effects. Cyber Troopers Virtualon reveals how to use training modes, unlock character variations, and access different endings. Special attacks and gameplay tricks, along with unlocking secret character types, E6 Temjin, D Raiden, and Yagarande, using specific button combinations, are also detailed. 4. Spirit King Legend lists special moves activated with direction inputs and the B button. Tournament Leader offers hidden options unlocked via letter combinations, modifying game settings like shot speed and scoring. Finally, a mystery game, perhaps Tomb Raiders, features a UFO appearance in Course 13 and a stage skip cheat. This document details cheat codes for several games. Generic action game codes include stage skipping, up, Z, Y, X, 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 start C, and unlimited weapons, clear game, save, start new, do Q say if.
Cheats involve unlocking outfits, a daily job, and changing background music. Holding L, R, X, Y, Z at startup alters the title screen. A secret house offers game tips, and another lets you change wallpaper. For racing games, sky changes are possible in versus battles and time trials. King the Spirits has auto walk on the map, unlocks the Type G and Type H cars, Gymkhana mode, and camera angle adjustments and replays. King the Spirits 2 cheats allow enemy car level adjustment, car pattern modifications, mirror non-shade modes, and unlocking all cars, and the moon surface mode. This document details numerous secrets and hidden features for the fighting game Spriggan Powered. Players can unlock hidden characters like Sho, Vermilion, Kamiorochi, and Pulf through specific gameplay achievements and button sequences at the title screen. Special moves and instant kill abilities for certain characters are also accessible through button inputs. Additional modes include Watch mode for observing AI battles, and Yura option, and Yura option 2 for enhanced settings. A puzzle-based Yura mode is unlockable too. The secrets include character quotes upon revival, title screen changes, and tricks for executing ultimate moves and removing herd elements. The document also provides move commands, color palette options, and methods for viewing versus records. Players can further manipulate gameplay with button combinations during the ending sequence, allowing for camera control and message speeding. A car can be unlocked by viewing magazine ads and entering a button sequence. This page is a treasure trove of secret information for the game Tokimeki Mahjong Paradise Koi no Tenpai Beat. It's packed with move lists for a variety of characters like Iji, Sophia, Dukes, and others, detailing their special attacks and command inputs. For example, characters like Iji have moves like Sky Splitter Slash and Soaring Wing Slash, while Duke has Ogre Slash and Sazan Cross. Beyond moves, the page unveils several hidden modes and features. There's an O-Mode mode unlocked with a button code at the title screen, letting you view character art. The Rituden visual mode, also title screen activated, allows you to customize character, stage, and scene visuals. A two-headed body mode is mentioned, activated by holding L and R during game mode selection, making characters' heads larger. You can select new costumes by holding down while choosing characters like Iji, Sophia, or Eris. A free camera mode during gameplay can be accessed via the option menu, letting you move and zoom the camera. Simple commands are hinted at, allowing easier execution of special moves by using the listed commands. The page also details how to manually control the Lychee window, unlock a staff roll with another title screen code, and even how to play as boss characters by holding specific directions during character select. Finally, there's a section on special names you can input during name entry in versus mode to unlock various effects, even enabling katakana input and robot mode. Tokimeki Memorial, Forever With You, hides a wealth of secrets. Players can transform items, unlock character-specific dialogues, and alter gameplay elements via specific name entries. Numerous Easter eggs exist, such as changing minigame features, manipulating race participants, and activating karaoke songs. Time-dependent messages and quick rematches are also available. Hidden commands on the command screen allow players to make calls, receive phone numbers, and manipulate confessions. Gameplay speed can be increased, and character stats can be altered with button inputs. The game offers unique loading messages based on save duration, special dates, and time of day. Subtitles can be toggled, and super mode is found in the slot game. Furthermore, there are ways to max stats or establish relationships with most girls, and special events on weekdays. This page reveals hidden features in two classic games. Doraemon, Nobita and the Revival of the Stars features a karaoke mode unlocked by specific title screen actions and the Neon Star combination for bonus points. Dragon Ball Z, The Legend, has an SP Battle and Music Select mode, activated by a button combination on the title screen, allowing for custom versus battles and music choices. Stage Select in SP Battle mode involves a series of resets and button presses. The game also offers speed adjustment controls using various controller button combinations at the title screen, and a hidden Tenkaichi Budokai mode accessible via the Mode Select screen. Additionally, it hints at unlisted special moves and provides detailed tables with scoring requirements for each stage, including character-specific strategies. This page is dedicated to special move techniques for the SEGA Saturn game Dragon Ball Z.
The Legend. It's packed with tables listing moves and their button combinations for a huge roster of characters, from Goku and his Super Saiyan 3 form to Vegeta, Trunks in both his Future and Kid versions, Gotenks, Piccolo, Krillin, Tien Shinhan, Master Roshi, and even villains like Zarbon, Rikum, Ginyu, Frieza, Androids 16 and 18, Cell, King Kai, Dabura, and Buu in his various forms including Majin Buu and Super Buu, plus unexpected characters like Mr. Satan and Great Saiyaman.
It seems like a comprehensive guide to unleashing devastating attacks in the game, detailing command inputs for each character's unique moveset. Beyond the move lists, there's a section called Dragon Master Silk, which highlights experience point bonuses for achieving certain conditions, like using specific cards in battle to level up faster and gain more experience. It also mentions getting a Demon Buster item by encountering Kibito without spike boots, and watching a special movie in the bar after clearing the game and seeing the ending. It's a detailed look into mastering Dragon Ball Z, The Legend on the Saturn, focusing on combat techniques and hidden game elements.
This document details hidden features and special modes for several SEGA Saturn games. In Knights, players can unlock a memory wine menu to rewatch cutscenes, access a versus score attack mode, and unlock extra options after clearing arcade mode. Map rotation on the Dream Data screen is also possible. Night Striker S offers a Euro mode for stage selection, laser type customization, and message display speed adjustments. Ninku Messenger of the Gods features a Chibi character mode, codes for 2 tax gold, back menu options, story viewing/gameplaying, background changes in the panic zone, boss/bonus game free play modes, infinite continues in arcade mode, and a debug mode. General tips include a high-speed mode, camera position switching,
Viewing the ending directly, computer character selection in versus mode, and different hitmark graphics.
Special operations and skills are also detailed, focusing on defense and special moves for specific characters in Ninku Messenger of the Gods. This document details hidden features and secrets in Virtua Cop. Players can manipulate the title screen logo and trigger a hidden face by inputting specific button combinations, unlocking ranking mode and Option Plus unlocks by clearing stages or using the reload button during the Sega logo. Gun Select mode can be activated in Attract mode for gun selection during pause.
Other hidden features include hiding the pause display and cursor, and viewing stage endings. Mirror mode is activated at the stage select screen using a specific shot/reload input sequence. Name entry time can be extended with a button tap sequence. Finally, the page unveils hidden special moves for Chaos and Reason, including the Parent Fist series for Chaos, and Hammer Breed, Pressure Wave, and Jet Spin Attack for Reason, highlighting the importance of character direction for move execution. This guide reveals secrets and hidden features of Virtua Fighter Remix. To immediately fight Fang, repeatedly press down at the beginner stage select. While the method to select hidden characters from the original game is mentioned, holding X, Y, or Z, it's not applicable to Remix. Option Plus mode, unlocked after completion, offers infinite continues and extra features. To encounter random enemies, hold R during mode selection in arcade mode. Big Head mode is unlocked after meeting specific conditions in Bookkeep. To unlock Dural, enter a specific button sequence on the character select screen. Down, up, right, left, and A. She also becomes selectable in Easy Select mode, which activates after a versus match by holding L or R. Special options can be accessed by pressing up 12 times and then start at the title screen, unlocking Stage Select and Mirror mode. Virtua Fighter 2 and its spin-offs have numerous hidden features. In VF2, unlockable modes include ranking recognition, true arcade mode, coin-op style, and a staff roll display. Other tricks include removing Cage's mask, fixing the ending replay camera, and playing with a hidden ring. Certain conditions affect Cage's voice clips. Virtua Fighter Kids offers features like fighting Crystal Dural and playing on waterless stages. Character selection allows for silver/gold Dural, while versus mode allows Crystal Dural with a loading screen command. Cage can perform a needle bomb 8 times in Kids mode. Other features include detailed record data, spectator camera changes, combo practice improvements, practice master mode, and wireframe mode. Finally, there are voice mode changes, and a command to play as Dural. A table outlines Dural's moves and their inputs. Virtua Fighter 2 has several hidden features and secrets. Completing hard mode without continues, and preventing Dural's ring out unlocks a special ending. Camera angles in watch mode can be randomized. Holding R during character selection changes the background music to the original tracks. Name entry has tricks like slow motion or text attacks on Shun and Dural. Slow motion replays are possible after Kakos. You can select victory poses. Specific stage throws, like a Gove powerbomb counter on the Emperor stage, are possible. Jackie's stage has a unique game over sequence. Date-based messages appear, and the attract mode's sky changes with in-game time. Option plus unlocks after clearing the game, and a two-player win pose depends on health difference. Key configuration and increasing staff roll character remnants are also possible. The page also contains move lists for techniques like throws, counters, and back techniques. This page details cheat codes and hidden features for several SEGA Saturn games. Virtua Racing offers free play in the slot machine, team select tricks, instant match endings, supercar unlocks in Grand Prix, night races, original course unlocks, and car rotation on the selection screen. Virtua Volleyball has staff roll unlocks, player animation viewers, including female-specific ones. Hyperduel grants infinite credits after clearing the game. Hyper Reversion reveals Masala and Kuma techniques, graphics bonuses, and random and boss character select options. Hyper 3D Battle G-Bockers unlocks the Big Eye boss and displays character commands. Manned Disp. This document details cheat codes and hidden features for several SEGA Saturn games. Puzzle Bobble 3 and 2X have codes for reverse board play, bubble explosions, and character selection tricks. Batsugun allows for credit increases via button codes and unlocks different endings with specific button combinations. Hat-Trick Hero Gaius unlocks the Kumagaya team and maxes unit counts. Papara Platoon provides a scene skip command. Battle Bay changes loading screens based on the date. A racing game allows participation even after machine destruction, with invincibility via AL and R. Battle Monsters lets you choose backgrounds and unlocks a special move for Shion. Finally, Hang On GP95 features codes for unlimited time, an extra machine, hidden courses, and endurance mode, plus a unique Albatross appearance condition. This page is all about celebrating everything Sakura Wars. It's advertising a digital fan disc called Sakura Wars Flower Division Communication. Think of it like a multimedia experience, full of sound and visuals, presented in a newspaper-style format. It's packed with content that fans would love, including profiles of the 6 heroines from the Flower Division, voice actor interviews, scenario digests, and even a compatibility fortune-telling game featuring the characters. They're even including special performance videos from the Imperial Opera Troupe, which is really cool. They are highlighting that it's got content for even those slightly less featured characters from the Imperial Opera Troupe. Besides the fan disc, they're also showcasing other Sakura Wars goodies available, like a secret file and an original art and setting material collection book, and an official guide for the Sakura Wars Columns game. They are pushing these as essential items for any Sakura Wars fan, promising loads of information and behind-the-scenes details. Apparently, the Flower Division Communication fan disc even comes with a special poster and costume pattern as bonuses. It's definitely aiming to be a complete package for Sakura Wars enthusiasts. This page highlights a range of strategy guides and art books for visual novel and simulation games. At the top, it's all about Kyunkyun Bunny Premiere 2, a romance simulation adventure game, with a strategy and setting material collection book available. This guide covers both the Windows and SEGA Saturn versions, and is packed with not just gameplay tips, but also plenty of appealing character art and details on related merchandise. They're calling it a deluxe, must-have edition for fans. Moving down, there's a section for Eve Burst Error, with an original art and setting material collection. This book, supervised by Ceaseware, is for the hit multi-site adventure game, and includes art from the popular Saturn version, staff interviews, and even background information on the game's terms and lore. Lastly, for fans of Errant's Quest for Hikari, there is the official setting material collection from Alice Soft for the Windows 95 simulation game. This guide is advertised as essential for complete game, boasting tons of beautiful graphics and in-depth strategy help. It even comes with a special B2 size poster, illustrated by Alice Soft as a bonus. These books look to be aimed at dedicated fans who want to delve deeper into these games. This page is a showcase of the latest and upcoming SEGA Saturn games. Under the new release title banner, it highlights recently launched games, encouraging readers to check out the newest titles. Games mentioned here include the quirky shoot-'em-up Tinkle Star Sprites, the mech combat simulator MechWarrior 2, the political simulation Sekai Rishiden,
a Lupin the Third collection called The Early Works Chronicle, a game based on the popular Kochikame manga and anime, the mystery horror title Ancient Spirit Summoning, Hyaku Monogatari, Sound Novel Maker 2 for aspiring creators, and a professional mahjong game Pro Mahjong Renmei Certified Dojo Breaker. Moving to the Coming Soon Soft section, it lists a variety of games set for imminent release. This lineup includes the racing game Zero Yan Champ Doozy J Typer, the fantastical adventure Momotaro's Travelogue, a Madu Monogatari title likely linked to the Puyo Puyo series, the horror adventure Seven Mansions, Terror's Smile, the magical girl game Pretty Sammy, a game simply titled Virus, the fishing competition Fishing Koshien 2, the WW2 strategy game Pacific Storm 2, the action shooter Skullfang, the visual novel Roommate, and a horse racing title Derby List. To the left of the text is an illustration of an anime-style character, possibly related to one of these games, adding some visual flair to the page. This page shines the spotlight on the quirky and fun shoot-'em-up puzzle game Tinkle Star Sprites. It introduces new characters, Misuzu Kisaragi, and the enigmatic principal teacher. The page emphasizes the game's unique shooting mechanics, especially the Renbaku or combo burst attack systems. This involves strategically using smaller enemies, called Zako, to create chain explosions and launch powerful attacks. You can even send bosses to your opponent by building up your shot count. The article highlights the cute characters and fast-paced shooting action that blends puzzle elements into the gameplay, urging players to master the Renbaku system to conquer their foes. This page shines a spotlight on MechWarrior 2 for the SEGA Saturn, a console port of the hugely popular PC game. It's described as a deep 3D robot action title where you pilot massive robots called mechs. The article emphasizes the game's strategic combat, highlighting how terrain and even heat conditions play a role in battles. Although the Saturn version boasts controller support and visual enhancements, it does come with a reduced resolution compared to the PC original. Players have the freedom to customize their mechs with various weapons and equipment before diving into diverse missions. These range from attacking and defending facilities to undertaking patrol missions. The game's story involves conflicts between clans, adding a narrative layer to the combat. Your performance in missions and the chosen difficulty level directly affect your score, encouraging replayability to master the game. The page includes screenshots showcasing the intense mech battles and in-game menus that hint at the extensive customization available. Seikai Rishiden is a political simulation board game where players strive to become prime minister. Players begin with job selection, choosing a career path like politician's child or activist, then navigate a series of map stages: citizen, election, minister, culminating in the prime minister goal. The game features diverse events, including movement, resource impacting, and reputation-altering events, including dangerous and fatal ones. General election and political realignment events enhance the political simulation. Crucially, player actions and decisions are pivotal. Managing constituent requests, political reshuffles, and family scandals directly shape a player's political career and ultimate success. The game emphasizes player agency in determining their political destiny. This page showcases 3 intriguing games for the SEGA Saturn. First up is Lupin the Third Chronicle, The Early Works, described as a database game that explores Lupin's memories. It seems you'll be diving into Lupin's hideout to uncover data on famous scenes and items from the series, essentially creating your own memories of Lupin. It boasts original opening and ending themes and includes 5 different modes, promising a deep dive for Lupin fans, with modes like a maniac quiz to test your knowledge. Next is a board game called Kochikame Board Game, based on the popular Kochikame manga. This one looks like a chaotic and fun board game experience set in the Nakagawa Land theme park from the series. You pick your favorite character and use a roulette to move around the board. It sounds like there are lots of events triggered by the squares you land on, and each character has unique abilities to use against others as you aim to be the last one standing. Finally, there's Koten ma Hyaku Monogatari, a horror adventure game based on the Japanese Hyaku Monogatari ghost story tradition. This game uses the concept of lighting 100 candles, extinguishing one after each story, and promises that something spooky will happen when the last candle goes out. It aims to create a chilling horror experience using CG, photos, and 3D sounds to scare players in a traditional Japanese horror setting. This page introduces 2 more games. First, there's Sound Novel Tsukuru 2, which is a tool for creating your own sound novel games. It looks pretty comprehensive, with features for writing your story text,
setting up the visuals and sound direction like background images and music, and even a test play mode to check how it all comes together. They're even running a contest with prize money for the best sound novels created with this software. Next up is Nihon Pro Mahjong Renmei Kunin Dojo Yaburi, a mahjong game officially recognized by the Japan Professional Mahjong League. This one lets you experience professional mahjong matches. The main mode seems to be Dojo Breaking Mode, where you challenge and defeat 5 professional mahjong players to become the best. There's also a research mode, where you can study pro techniques using data from over 10,000 games. It seems like a serious mahjong simulator for those wanting to hone their skills and learn from the pros. This page is all about the latest installment in the 04 Champ series, 04 Champ Doozy J Typer. It's described as a racing game, but the article emphasizes it's more of a variety game that goes beyond just straight racing. They're calling it the ultimate variety game, suggesting it blends genres. The article mentions that Zeroion Racing, which is a 400-meter drag race, is central to the game. Winning comes down to shift timing and car tuning skills. The story mode takes you to America, where the protagonist aims to be the fastest man. Interestingly, despite the hardcore racing events, there are apparently 8 beautiful women involved in the story, making it a luxurious adventure. They highlight the volume of content and replayability, mentioning there are a whopping 251 different endings to discover, achieved after completing all ending checks. The developer comments that this game is engaging and will keep you hooked until you see your preferred ending. The game is described as having adventure elements, mini-games, and even dating sim aspects alongside the racing. It's definitely aiming to be more than just a typical racing game, with a strong emphasis on variety and story. This page delves deeper into the systems of 04 Champ Doozy J Typer, expanding on its variety game nature. It showcases the adventure part, emphasizing the story and dating sim elements. The game revolves around weekly schedules, town exploration, and building relationships with the female characters. The basic screen acts as your central hub, offering icons to navigate the city, check your car collection, even watch TV or make calls. Crucially, it's where you manage your partner relationships, checking their status, planning dates, and engaging in conversations where your character's facial expressions dynamically change. Scheduling is a core mechanic. You plan your week and your partner's schedule. Her free days become important for your own activities. Schedule icons include part-time jobs like Week Bite and Day Bite to earn money, and Grass Race for street racing. Partner icons determine your activities together, from beach dates and exercise, to shopping, and even getting your partner to tune your car. There are also rest days for her, and free days for you to utilize. Car tuning offers 2 methods. Partner tuning, influenced by her schedule, perhaps triggered by a monkey's banana date, and shop tuning, which requires spending in-game currency. The page then lists a variety of car parts, such as line lock, LSD, intercooler, booster, tires, mission, and piston, amongst many others, detailing each part's function in enhancing your car's performance. It's a detailed look into the game's mechanics, demonstrating its depth beyond just simple racing. This page is all about the minigames featured in 04 Champ Doozy J Typer, calling it a minigame big reveal. It emphasizes that minigames are a significant part of the series' appeal, and this latest installment is packed with them, especially highlighting the RPG minigame, which they say is surprisingly substantial. You can even play these minigames separately after you've cleared the main story. The RPG section is described as having a surprising amount of content, almost a third of the main game's volume. It boasts a robust system with 6 job types, class changes, unique special moves for each job, and diverse scenarios ranging from fantasy to sci-fi. They mention there are around 15 different endings to discover, suggesting it's more than just a simple minigame. Then it showcases a variety of other minigames. There's horse racing, where you bet on the ponies, a warehouse puzzle game called The Storehouse, where you strategically place boxes within a time limit, and a basketball free throw game called Long Shoot. Sardine Bonk, or Poke, is a fishing game. Arm Champ is an arm wrestling minigame focused on button mashing. Chicken Race is a peculiar game where you race chickens at high speed, and the goal is to stop closer to the edge without falling off. Lastly, there are casino games, blackjack, keno, and slot machines, rounding out the minigame collection. The page seems very enthusiastic about the sheer variety and depth of these minigames, calling it the real deal. The story of 04 champ Doozy J. Typer follows the protagonist's quest for the Zero Binan Championship. They've reached a turning point, aiming for the Grand Canyon. A detour to Salt Lake City leads to an encounter with the innocent Rosalia, pursued by a man named Galerian. There, they also meet the formidable German racer, Michael, raising doubts about the protagonist's chances. A further detour involves a B-class race in Indianapolis, where the protagonist meets an Okama racer who becomes infatuated with them. The stakes are raised. A loss means the protagonist will be eaten, leading to a precarious situation and a question of their chastity. This page focuses on 04 champ Doozy J. Typer, highlighting the character Michael. He's introduced as a formidable racer with a physique and icy demeanor, described as cyborg-like, known for his precise and mistake-free racing. The page teases the story's progression to Chicago, where the protagonist is aiming for rank races. It seems a date in Chicago takes an unexpected turn when a gang appears and kidnaps the protagonist's partner. This forces the protagonist to abandon racing temporarily and confront the gang to rescue their partner. Interestingly, the page emphasizes the RPG elements of the game, proclaiming, "Again and again, RPG!" suggesting that beyond racing, there are significant RPG-style interactions and battles. Screenshots show visual novel-style dialogues with partners dated in December and February, and an RPG battle scene. The dialogue snippets hint at conversations with partners, possibly related to the previous encounter with the Okama racer. Finally, there are racing screenshots, showcasing Zero-Yon racing gameplay, confirming Michael as a rival in the rank races, and the protagonist's determination to beat him. This page introduces Momotaro Dentetsu Michinokichuki for Sega Saturn, focusing on the antagonist, Bonbi Daimao, King Poverty. The king's evil deeds include splitting into four, summoning demons, and stealing player money. He can even send players to hell. The game features a robot research lab, hinting at new mechanics. The page also highlights the game's music, composed by Takawa Yuki Hyde and Demon Kogure Kakato, with over 90 songs. Both artists will also appear in the game. A demo CD-ROM is offered, with a mid-July 1997 release date. The review calls it a must-play summer game for Saturn, especially for fans, emphasizing the enhanced King Bonbi and overall fun. Momotaro Dentetsu Michinokichuki, on the Sega Saturn, introduces new gameplay mechanics to enhance the travel experience. The Edo Child Mode emphasizes wealth accumulation. Key additions include the checkpoint system, letting players establish checkpoints and charge tolls, and Heavenly Disaster events, disrupting travel. Monster subjugation events offer RPG-style battles for rewards, while the fortune-telling event provides a lottery for substantial winnings. Replacing cards are 125 tolls, Edo-era-inspired items, with special effects like the Yellow Gate toll, Poverty, Ushishio toll, long-distance travel, Charging toll, free movement, Tenma toll, long jump, and Minabuto toll. The Saturn version also features a regional information system, leveraging the CD-ROM format to offer detailed information on each region, enhancing the game's educational aspect. This page is all about the Sega Saturn version of Madu Monogatari, which is part of the Puyo Puyo series. They are calling it Saturn's Madu World, highlighting its exclusive nature. The article says it uses a fuzzy parameter system, where character states like energy are shown with messages instead of numbers, adding a unique fantasy element. The main characters are Arl, Rulu, and Skedzo, familiar from previous Madu Monogatari Rs games, and they're getting costume updates for this new title. There's a section about the gameplay being in a field type for the first time in the series, moving away from the 3D dungeons of previous games. This Saturn version is top-down view, where you walk around maps. It mentions that each of the three characters will have separate episodes that eventually merge into one big story. They also mention party play as a first for the series. Character profiles are shown for Arle, Skedzo, and Rulyu, giving their heights, weights, and bust, waist, hip measurements. Arle is described as a 16-year-old magical girl prone to trouble. Skedzo is a dark magic user, and Rulyu is a wealthy lady obsessed with Arle. There's also a Check 2 section asking about new characters and hinting at new faces from Puyo Puyo's son, possibly appearing, suggesting cute enemy characters might be introduced. This page focuses on the Sega Saturn game, Terror Smile, a title they are calling a groundbreaking two-player co-op adventure game. It's being touted as rewriting gaming history with its unique Pecan system, which seems to be a special controller setup for cooperative play. The game is set in 7 mysterious mansions and promises a thrilling and terrifying experience. They are really emphasizing the high-quality graphics, and the reviewer is impressed by the visual presentation. The music is composed by the well-known Miyagawa Hiroshi, and voice acting is provided by popular voice actors Kuda Mariko and Midorikawa Hikaru. They mention the story revolves around unraveling secrets and mysteries within the mansions. The release is scheduled for winter 1997, and the tagline is 1997, Winter, Fear Will Come. The screenshots shown seem to be from the opening or early stages of the game and hint at a suspenseful and engaging experience. Magical Girl Pretty Sammy is a new OVA adaptation for the Sega Saturn, presented as a multi-scenario adventure game. Developed by Studio Orphe and AIC, the original creators of the series, the game promises an authentic experience. The game features a new opening movie set to a catchy tune, portraying Misaki Kawai's daily life, with Yokoyama Chisa singing the opening theme, Diamond no Yuki. The game is 70% complete, and the first edition includes a special CD with full chorus versions of Diamond no Yuki, Angel's Whispers, and the image song, My Favorite Boy, sung by Yokoyama Chisa. Players will encounter familiar characters like Sasami and Misaki Kawai, but in different roles from the Tenchi series, adding a unique spin to the Pretty Sammy universe. This page introduces an episode of Magical Girl Pretty Sammy, centered around a hilariously chaotic physical fitness test day at school. Initially, everyone's happy to skip class for the test, but things go awry when the new school nurse, Jinguji-sensei, uses strange machines that transform into humanoids, and love monsters start appearing. The gym descends into utter panic. The page then delves into the game's development process, specifically showcasing how a Sammy screen is made. It highlights the meticulous work involved, starting from the original hand-drawn artwork, moving through dot correction to refine jagged edges, color application, and fine touch-ups. The developers emphasize the repeated process and the hard work of the staff to bring the visuals to life. They mention the importance of rough sketches, color palettes, and shading as initial steps in the process before the final artwork is completed and integrated into the game. The characters, Misaki and Sasami, are featured in screenshots with dialogue boxes, giving us a glimpse into the game's story and interactions. Misaki seems surprised by the unfolding events and the transformation, while Sasami, or Pretty Sammy, is ready to take action and transform to face the monsters and restore order. The developer commentary emphasizes the effort in conveying subtle expressions and angles, highlighting the artistry needed to create high-quality visuals for the game. The game Virus, a cyberpunk hybrid CG adventure, is being developed jointly by Hudson, SEGA, and Avex. It features high-quality visuals and a deep scenario set in a digitized world where human senses are data. Players become cybercrime investigators, solving mysteries within a cyberspace called Cybernet. The game world blurs the lines between reality and virtuality, with actions in cyberspace having real-world consequences. A transer captures real-world data to construct the Cybernet environment. The network features public, commercial, and illegal networks with varying themes, from business to fantasy. Key terms like dive, entering cyberspace, and rise, returning to reality, are defined. The game is aimed for all ages and is expected to be released on August 8th on 3 creeds. Development is at 70% completion, with the developers expecting players to have over 30 hours of gameplay. This page is a direct interview with monster designer Zaizawa Jing about the upcoming game Virus. Zaizawa explains that he got involved with the project after being contacted by director Akimoto. He was drawn to the game because of its solid setting and character designs, mentioning that he and Hudson had a consistent image from the beginning. Zaizawa talks about how the detailed world and story are important to him, and he draws a comparison to Enemy Zero in that aspect. He also points out the strength of the CG artists working on Virus, and expresses his hope that players will enjoy the fresh and different monster designs he has created for this title compared to his previous works. There are also comments from the 3 companies involved in the project, Hudson, SEGA, and Avex, under production update. Hudson states that the work is almost finished, focusing on debugging, and they are aiming for the August 8th release. SEGA expresses confidence in the game's quality,
emphasizing it will be a top-tier title, with impressive CG graphics and gameplay. Avex mentions their involvement from the planning stage, and how the game's worldview aligns well with their favorite Blue project. Finally, there's a section titled, Voice Recording is also a great success, mentioning that voice recording is going smoothly, and that luxurious voice actors are being used, bringing the game closer to completion. This page introduces Fishing Koshien, a game where you embody the spirit of a young angler. It boasts a 100% completion rate, and was set for release on May 30th at 6,800 yen. It's described as a fishing simulation game for single players of all ages. The game features fishing mode and a new battle mode, allowing for competitive play in addition to free fishing. The page emphasizes gathering 3 fishing companions to compete. The game's premise revolves around high school students aiming for victory in fishing tournaments. It highlights team-based gameplay, requiring teamwork to reach the top in Fishing Koshien. Players choose 3 companions and decide on their high school representation to participate in matches. The page then details the rules for different types of fishing in the game. These include bass fishing with a 5-hour time limit and a minimum size for caught bass, heron fishing focused on catching specific types of fish in order, Isaki fishing, where the number and size of Isaki fish caught within a 5-hour limit determines the winner, and big game fishing, which targets all fish except sharks, judged on the total weight of fish over 50 centimeters caught within the time limit. Finally, there's a section giving advice for winning, suggesting players should slowly and carefully fish, or aggressively attack to secure victory, encouraging players to aim for the championship. This page provides stage-by-stage advice for Fishing Koshien. Stage 1, for crucian carp fishing, emphasizes careful point selection, advising players to choose spots with fewer obstacles in the lake to easily see fish. If a big fish is hooked, the advice is to jerk the rod left and right to prevent losing it, and to lower the drag setting to 1 to avoid line breakage. Stage 2 focuses on grunt fish fishing, suggesting players find the tana, or fish layer, where Isaki are located. The boat captain will apparently provide information on good fishing spots. It recommends aiming for Isaki larger than 20 centimeters. The page also mentions using the tension gauge to estimate the size of the fish. Stage 3 covers bitterling fishing, and the tip is to cast repeatedly in the same spot to lure fish. Bubbles on the water's surface are highlighted as an indicator of fish presence. Timing the reeling fish in process is crucial for this stage. Stage 4 is set in Saipan for the final battle, targeting big game fish in deep waters. It suggests fishing at around 150 meters depth in the first half, and 250 meters in the latter half of the competition. It also warns about sharks appearing and potentially stealing your catch, emphasizing the importance of reeling in fish quickly to avoid them. The page concludes with celebrating a big catch, showing examples of caught fish and their sizes, highlighting successful fishing in Fishing Koshien. The next page introduces Storm of the Pacific 2 for the SEGA Saturn, a strategy simulation game that's making its way from CES to consoles. This game puts you in command during World War II in the Pacific, leading the Japanese Army and Navy against the Allied forces, including the US, UK, China, and potentially the Soviet Union. The Saturn version boasts improved 3D graphics for its units and environments. It's also designed to be more accessible to newcomers to the strategy genre. 2 main scenarios are highlighted. The first is the prologue of the Pacific War, which covers the events leading up to the war's outbreak. The second, called the Northern Offensive Operation, is described as a challenging scenario where you're up against the Soviet Union and Manchuria. This scenario emphasizes the Japanese Army's weakness against the Soviets and stresses the critical role of air power to achieve victory. The page also mentions the importance of quickly deploying new aircraft types and highlights the game's inclusion of experimental and prototype aircraft. Screenshots show resource management and unit deployment interfaces, giving a glimpse into the gameplay mechanics. The game is set to be released on June 13th, and the team behind it expresses confidence in its quality. Storm of the Pacific 2 presents players with strategic choices between short, quick battles and a full-length campaign. Short scenarios are ideal for learning the mechanics, while the campaign demands careful resource management, supply line security, and technological advancements. Players must protect supply lines from air and submarine attacks in the campaign. Short scenarios favor aggressive tactics, prioritizing speed and quantity over quality. Rapid aircraft development is also key. Difficulty settings like Search reveals enemy movements, and Resources, Unlimited, can be adjusted to simplify gameplay, though modifying Resources
might impact strategic depth. The game features Japanese sea lane defense, emphasizing the use of various ship types, balancing size, speed, and cargo capacity. A specific scenario, box formation, focused on the Battle of Midway, is available. The next page showcases Skullfang, a highly anticipated arcade game making its way to the SEGA Saturn. This article is introducing players to the game system and the fighter squadron they will command. It's highlighted as being 100% complete and ready for release on May 30th, priced at 5,800 yen, supporting 12 players and suitable for all ages. The developers are excited about bringing the high-speed chase battle action to the Saturn. The game features a new chase shooting system. The core gameplay loop is focused on target pursuit, destroy, where players chase and destroy targets, mainly enemy motherships, within a time limit using speed control. Failing to destroy the target in time leads to game over. Another key element is boss pursuit. Boss battles feature a radar and monitor to locate the boss, and players must adjust their speed while keeping an eye on the altitude, as varying altitudes can lead to being unable to hit the boss. The speed control system is detailed, explaining that players select a speed type from auto, 2-speed, and 5-speed when choosing their fighter. While auto is recommended for beginners, it doesn't fully unleash the fighter's potential. More experienced players are encouraged to use 2-speed or 5-speed. There's also mention of an Sunit and hyper mode. By maintaining 6-speed with the Sunit equipped, special attacks become available. Furthermore, achieving 6-speed in 5-speed mode by rapidly tapping the shift-up button triggers hyper mode for even faster flight and enhanced combat abilities. The Skullfang Squadron offers 4 distinct fighter aircraft. The FAV-1B Sylph-2 provides balanced performance, ideal for beginners. The FV-03 C Salonex prioritizes mobility for hit-and-run tactics. The AVO-2, a Mega Valkyrie, boasts the highest attack power but is the slowest, excelling against medium enemies. The BV-04 SIF, optimized for close-quarters combat, is better suited for experienced players. Pilots are categorized as fighter or bomber types, each with unique special attack mechanics. Players can switch between Vulcan, laser, missile, and cluster weapons, each offering distinct advantages. Vulcan is for initial play. Laser provides piercing, missile offers homing, and cluster explodes in a ring. The game's core philosophy emphasizes aggressive offense. Roommate in Summer Vacation, Ryoko in Summer Vacation, a sequel to Roommate, is in development, scheduled for release this summer on the Saturn. Priced at 5,800 yen, the communication adventure game puts players back with Ryoko 6 months after their initial encounter. It's aimed at all ages and emphasizes realistic cohabitation through the Saturn's clock function. The game is currently 40% complete. It features a shorter time frame, leading to more impactful choices and increased replayability. Players can experience various aspects of Ryoko's personality, engaging in deeper interactions, especially during evening events. New additions include dates and walks with Ryoko in various locations, plus mini-games and room events. The core gameplay revolves around cherishing everyday communication. A Roommate official fan club is also announced. This page is all about Dabiana, a horse racing prediction software for the Saturn, boasting a 100% completion rate and aiming for high payout bets. They're putting it to the test to see if it lives up to the hype. Apparently, in past data analysis from May to November 95, it had a 173% return rate with a 51% win rate for favored horses. The software is designed to be user-friendly, from beginners to seasoned gamblers. They actually tested Dabiana on a real race, the Sweet Pea Stakes, on May 4th at Tokyo Racecourse. You input race data like conditions and horse stats, and Dabiana spits out predictions. The idea is, it uses objective data to give you insights, not just gut feelings. They show a prediction table and a race result. Dabiana predicted Air Wings to win and Ishin Catcher to place, which actually happened. The reviewer notes, it was a big upset race, making Dabiana's prediction even more impressive, although their personal bet failed. The software suggests focusing on 6 main bets and 6 dark horse bets for optimal returns, and it seems to lean towards recommending bets on dark horse candidates. The next page dives into the brand new Future Bee trading card specialty store.
It's run by Hudson and seems to be the place to be for trading card game enthusiasts. They've got everything from Magic, The Gathering, Pokemon, to Star Wars card games. The store is more than just buying cards, it's a whole experience. On the 4th floor, you'll find the MTG Card Game Cafe, where you can play in duel rooms, grab a drink in the cafe area, and browse their selection of cards and items. If you are new to card games, or want to buy some, head to the 2nd floor's Sales Exhibition Space and Beginner Duel Space. And get this, even Pro, Magic, The Gathering players offer coaching here. For the serious players, the 3rd floor is Upper B, a dedicated duel space for advanced players. The article even gives a quick explanation of Magic, The Gathering, and its appeal. Membership at FutureBee sounds like a great deal at 1,000 yen a year, giving you unlimited duels, free drinks, and even the option to trade in your single cards. Directions to the store are also included, and apparently, the store banner is quite eye-catching. It seems like FutureBee is aiming to be the ultimate hub for all things trading card games. This page introduces the SEGA Saturn Soft Complete Guide section of the magazine. This time, they're highlighting 2 specific titles in detail, Kakyusei and Groove on Fight. Kakyusei is likely the well-known adult visual novel, famous for its genre. And Groove on Fight is the fighting game from Atlas. The anime girl illustration on the right probably represents a character from Kakyusei, especially with the school uniform vibe. It looks like they're planning deep dives into these games on pages 128 and 132. This analysis of the game Kakyusei explores player psychology through 2 case studies. Case 1 highlights a player fixated on a single character, finding enjoyment in a deep, obsessive virtual romance. Case 2 showcases a player focused on dating multiple characters, deriving pleasure from the feeling of popularity, and managing several relationships simultaneously. The analysis pinpoints the core enjoyment. For Case 1, it's immersion in a single relationship. For Case 2, it's the thrill of juggling multiple. The prescription section advises Case 1 to explore the game more broadly, and Case 2 to cultivate deeper relationships. The overall suggestion is to find a balance between focused and diverse interactions to fully appreciate the game's romantic elements. Quote, "This guide focuses on Minagawa Nana, a character whose heart needs healing after being rejected by another character, Team. To win her affection, players must navigate her difficult initial stage where she is hung up on Team. Watching their date scenes is recommended after the rejection in autumn, which the player cannot prevent, is a crucial time. Helping Nana recover opens the path to dating. Nana enjoys childish conversations and dreamlike responses. Avoid crushing her dreams. Guide details important date spots and a behavior pattern, outlining her locations throughout the day. An event schedule provides potential encounter locations and times. Though affection gains are limited initially, the guide emphasizes observing these events, suggesting that some locations feature multiple events. Images of Nana are included to assist the player. Misuzu Ijima is a shy, sorrowful girl, torn between friendship and love. This guide outlines how to successfully navigate her route, emphasizing the importance of initially pursuing both Misuzu and her friend simultaneously. To deepen your relationship with Misuzu, triggering a Y-date event is crucial. To win her over, sincerity and consistent effort are key. Avoid being flirtatious. Instead, be gentle, supportive, and give clear answers. Key locations for interactions include the schoolyard and an underground coffee shop. The event schedule notes that while events are fewer in spring, summer, and autumn, winter provides a richer experience. To start Misuzu's route, witness her injure her leg in the schoolyard and offer your handkerchief. This leads to events at the coffee shop and a visit to your house, ultimately unlocking her story. Ai Minamizato is a direct character who prioritizes love. To pursue her in the game, players must simultaneously pursue Misuzu. After completing W-date events, details in Misuzu's section, you can ask A out. Maintaining a balance with Misuzu is crucial. Neglecting her will prevent a special event. Key locations for AI interactions are the school gate, science room, and children's park. Affectionate dialogue is effective. Avoid being forceful. AI dislikes aggressive advances, especially physical ones. The event schedule. Spring events are at the school gate on Saturdays at 12:30 p.m.
Summer events are at the planetarium and amusement park on Sundays. Autumn events are at the planetarium on Saturdays at 6:05 p.m. Winter events are at the planetarium, children's park, school gate, and a coffee shop. Library events are also possible. This page is a character-specific move guide for the game Groove on Fight. Focusing on the character Soaris R8000. The page details several special moves for Soaris, including Stand Bullet, a move where she fires rubber bullets that briefly stun opponents, Stand Platinum, a diamond-like barrier attack, and Gaia Rater, likely meant to be Gyro Accelerator or similar, a spinning kick attack with variable range and power depending on the kick button used. Other moves highlighted are Soar Platinum, which is an aerial version of Stand Platinum that creates two barriers simultaneously, TNT Charge, which can be charged by holding punch or kick buttons to increase power, and Soaris Multiple Player, likely Multiplier or similar, where Soaris rushes forward with a barrier. Lastly, Absolute Beat is presented as a combo technique, starting with a mid-kick and ending with a heel drop. The page also mentions Soaris' fighting style, emphasizing her long reach and quick moves, making her suitable for hit-and-run tactics, and stringing together combos, particularly with Stand Platinum for added pressure. The reviewer seems to appreciate her design and combat style, highlighting her effectiveness and stylish moves. This page continues the character move guides for Groove on Fight, this time focusing on Tenshinbashi Kinroku. The page introduces Kinroku as a mysterious masked fighter known for his powerful and flashy moves, fitting for someone who loves festivals. The reviewer notes his fighting style is about overwhelming force, which is reflected in his techniques. The page details various special moves categorized by seasons. Spring is a command grab with a cherry blossom effect, launching opponents into the air for 67 hits. Summer is a powerful upward strike using his weapon to summon lightning, described as a key move for offense. Autumn creates falling leaves that hinder opponent movement, and the sex. Winter is a snow-based attack that freezes opponents on hit, allowing for follow-up attacks. Other notable moves include 3 Years Kill, a secret technique with a grab and powerful explosion, and Heaven-Piercing Big Jade, a stress shot super move creating a large pillar of fire. Lionhead is described as a command throw with a wide range. The combo technique section mentions that Kinroku's throws are a crucial part of his offense, especially the Lionhead. It suggests using throws as starting points and following up with direction inputs for more complex combos. The arcade mode section briefly explains the game's story progression, mentioning encountering bosses like Geraltheimer and new characters upon clearing it. The page emphasizes Kinroku's strength and flashiness, recommending players to use his powerful moves to overwhelm opponents. Setsuju Karyu, a ninja character in Groove on Fight, relies on speed and technical moves. His special attacks include Shadow Binding, Stun, Phoenix Immortal Fire Technique, Flaming Dash, White Thunder Gun, Bomb Jump, and Rapid Fire Carbon Dust Technique, Combo. Other moves are Ground Spider Technique, Underground Movement, Spiked Caltrops Throw, Ground Traps, Cross-Shaped Mist Collapse, Kunai Attack, and Stress Shoot, Kunai Explosion. The text also introduces a new story element after defeating Geraltheimer. The character Bristol, seemingly refined but cruel, appears. Other characters involved in this story section are Solus and Larry. This page details Geraltheimer, a strong character from Groove on Fight known for his Iron Ball attacks. His moves include Iron Mine, Weak Punch plus Strong Punch, a Ground Explosion, Heavy Soul Kick, Down Charge UP plus Kick, a Diving Kick, Grind Rush, Forward plus Kick, a Charging Attack, Grind Break, Forward plus Weak Punch repeatedly, a Combo Variation, Body Smasher, Down Charge UP plus Punch, a Jumping Downward Attack, Iron Dust Bomber, Back Charge Forward plus Weak Kick, Forward plus Strong Kick, Forward plus Punch, his Desperation move, and Gain Control, Forward plus Punch. A page also discusses dash special moves. While typically requiring a double tap input, a more advanced technique allows execution by inputting the command and rapidly tapping forward twice, increasing speed and combo possibilities. This page is a strategy guide for Advanced World War, Millennium Empire no Kuri.
focusing on two plans to defeat France: the Schlieffen Plan and the Manstein Plan. The Schlieffen Plan involves invading France via Holland and Belgium, rotating around Luxembourg to target Paris, mirroring a strategy that failed in World War I. The Manstein Plan, on the other hand, aims to encircle and destroy Allied forces by flanking through the Ardennes forest and then pushing towards Paris, leveraging terrain for defense. The page also highlights Heinz Guderian, describing him as a key figure in mechanized warfare and a highly capable commander within the game, emphasizing his strategic importance. Additionally, there's a segment comparing French and German tanks of World War II. It notes that France had more tanks and potentially superior aircraft compared to Germany at the start of the war. However, it points out that France lacked the tactical know-how to effectively utilize these resources in modern warfare, leading to their defeat. Finally, there's a brief author profile for Kuno Naoyuki, who shares a personal story about travel during Golden Week, losing money on horse racing, and finding enjoyment in playing the SEGA Saturn game Nadesico. He humorously questions if it's okay to prioritize gaming over dating. This page discusses military vehicles and provides game tips. It highlights the German Panther tank, a late-war design superior to early Shermans, emphasizing its design response to Soviet 34 tanks. The page also critiques the decline of the Luftwaffe, attributing it to political interference and favoritism that hindered the production of effective aircraft like the Heinkel He 219, and prolonged the use of outdated planes like the Ju-87 Stuka. For the game, Advanced World War, Millennium Empire no Kuri, a cheat code is revealed. Entering YZXYS in the map settings unlocks all music. Finally, the page calls for reader submissions of ideas, feedback, and military vehicle illustrations for the final issue. The page is visually supported with images of tanks and aircraft. This page is packed with gaming news and information for the GW 5th edition. It's promoting a revamped information corner with a catalog feel, boasting a lot of content. There's a section dedicated to movie and video game information, teasing movie titles like Basquiat and Batman and Robin for a GW Theater feature. They mention 39 movie titles and 43 video titles included, with some being preview movie recordings. Strategy videos are highlighted, particularly for Virtual Fighter 3 and Sakura Wars. For Virtual Fighter 3, it mentions character-specific strategy videos aiming to help players become all-around experts. Sakura Wars strategy videos are also featured, described as packed with content. There's an interesting section on Girls Collection in Joyopolis, which seems to be an event at Sega's Joyopolis theme park in Shinjuku. It sounds like a database-style feature with personal data and videos of 12 girls working at Joyopolis, almost like a real-life dating sim preview. Finally, Namo's Talk section briefly mentions recent events and Saturn software, hinting at interesting content to come and something about historical revolutionary incidents. This page features a preview of a rather unique simulation game called Simulation of Fostering Villains World Conquest Company, Limited. It's all about training someone to become a villain, focusing on weekly schedules and enhancing their abilities through different hells and rest periods. The goal is to improve stats and groom your character over 10 weeks in this quirky training simulation. There's also a column discussing personal media, comparing homepages, and mini-comics. It talks about how both allow individuals to express themselves and connect with others, but notes that homepages can become overly focused on self-promotion, while mini-comics can sometimes become too niche and insular. It touches on the idea that both have their place in personal expression. In the GW staff column, Kodo Taijin mentions the end of GW5 production and the feeling of summer approaching. He talks about working on summer movie promotions and feeling a bit weary of the summer heat, but acknowledges it's an annual thing. Finally, Nemo's talk continues from the previous page, further discussing mini-comics in the context of personal creation and distribution. And at the bottom there's the contact information for SEGA Saturn Magazine. This article provides a glimpse into the studio of Aya Kadai, the character designer for Dokusei 2, following the game's release on the Saturn. The piece details her creative process, from her use of Copic markers and color tones for illustrations, to clever workspace hacks like repurposed pen cases and drawing table angles. It also touches upon her use of background music, favoring singles over albums recently. The article highlights the game's popularity, mentioning a TV Asahi feature and a comic event that drew a large crowd. It also announces the launch of the Elf homepage for news and recruitment. Finally, it reveals Kadai's love for cats, featuring her cat, Tama, Hana-chan, and ends with a call for fan art submissions. Welcome to Kadai Aya World. Episode 10, a 4-panel manga, depicts everyday life observations. The comic begins with school scenes, showing girls distracted by noise and observing birds attracted to a cherry blossom tree. Subsequent panels depict morning annoyances, with a spilled drink and a girl commenting on the bird's odd behavior. The final scene, possibly in a kitchen, features a surprised girl and another who playfully claims responsibility for something, with, maybe not, added. A final text box mentions something about the infirmary and Nana and a plan. Below the comic, readers are encouraged to send encouraging letters to Kadai-sensei, Mr. per millisecond, Kadai. The text explains that this workplace visit highlighted the support everyone provides to the teacher and directs fans to send postcards of support addressed to Kadai-sensei. The prompt ends with, Kada-sensei is okay, suggesting this is an acceptable way to address her. This page is all about Capcom and their upcoming game, Cyberbots. It's volume 29 of Hello, Capcom, and celebrates Rockman's 10th anniversary. They're running a serial number treasure lottery for owners of the Cyberbots Super Limited Edition. There are 2 ways to win. The first is based on the speed of your serial number, aiming to get as close to 0 as possible. The second is a big lottery, using the last 2 digits of your serial number. If they match the dice roll, you win. The deadline to enter is June 20th for the lottery, and results will be in Harokapu magazine in July. Cyberbots itself is scheduled to be released on June 27th, and they're also promoting the Satama Gamuk Cyberbots strategy book, which is finally finished and packed with info, including secret strategies from Capcom themselves. They also have a desired ports ranking, with games fans want to see on Saturn, like Alien vs. Predator, Capcom World, Punisher, 19XX series, Muscle Bomber series, EGG, Ghosts in Goblins series, Buchigiri Z, Vampire Savior, and Wolf of the Battlefield series. They're also brainstorming ideas for new limited edition items, considering things like simple items, special illustrations, Dungeons & Dragons and Scarlet Blue themed items, voice tracks or theme songs, and fashionable D&D items. Finally, this week's present is Rockman anniversary stickers and secret file stickers, given to 3 lucky winners. The next issue will feature a Capcom consultation room special with Capcom Q&A. The Rockman Big Expo report from Capcom's Osaka Development Building highlighted a successful event centered around Mega Man. A major highlight was the Rockman Tesu, a popular exercise routine. The sound group, including Aoki Yoshi and Yamamoto Keiji, discussed their musical contributions. Yamamoto envisioned the Rockman Taisu at school sports days, and even joked about creating a biohazard Taisu. The interview also touched on incorporating music in games, battle themes, and a Roll-chan theme aimed at younger audiences. The event included photos of enthusiastic attendees enjoying the Rockman experience, showcasing Vampire Savior and Cyberbots, alongside the Mega Man focus, particularly the exercise dance. The overall atmosphere was energetic, celebrating Capcom's games and music, especially the growing popularity of the Rockman Taisu. This page delves into the Vampire Savior Secret File Super Digest, offering insights from the game's development team. We hear from various groups like the planning, object, publicity, sound, scroll, and design teams. The developers discuss character design, gameplay balance, and hidden secrets. They mention Valletta's recommended strategy involving getting up and then grandma, Jetta being maniacal, and Dimitri's midnight bliss being unpopular. Guru, Victor, Bishaman, Anakaris, Kavit, and Felicia are also mentioned, with comments on their strengths and weaknesses. They talk about how Bishaman is much weaker than before, and how Anakaris is strong in the hands of skilled players. The team also touches upon design choices, including the horror video cover art and the challenges of balancing a large roster of 15 characters. There's a section called Plus Secret Girls, featuring a picture of 3 smiling women, likely fans or female staff involved with the game. A present section highlights giveaways for readers. The page also includes sections titled Completion and Exploration, Capcom Development Building, showing glimpses into the development process and the Capcom building itself. Finally, a lighthearted segment titled Volume 2-1F Entrance and Bicycle Parking shows the entrance and bicycle parking area of the Capcom building, offering a casual peek behind the scenes.
This page introduces Vampire Savior, the Lord of Vampire, the latest arcade installment in Capcom's Vampire series, boasting extreme 2D fighting action. It details new systems like the impact damage gauge, where damage is visually shown and recovers over time, and the elimination of traditional rounds for faster-paced matches. A key feature is Dark Force, activated by pressing punch and kick together, consuming a gauge to unleash special attacks. New characters are highlighted. Jita, a dark savior using unusual attacks requiring spacing. Lilith, a tricky character with diverse moves distinct from Morrigan. Bulleta, a quick, short-range rushdown character. And Cubey, a button-mashing character with many unique techniques for close combat. Checkpoint explains new mechanics. Guard cancel, allowing attacks from guard. Advancing guard to push opponents back while blocking. And chain combos, which are faster and require quicker timing than before. The special stock gauge powers Dark Force and other special moves. Character colors are expanded to 10, with an auto-guard option using P+K during dedicated guard stance. The Mad Love Save a column at the bottom reflects the reviewer's strong enthusiasm for Vampire Savior, noting the character updates, depth, and expecting continued popularity and excitement for the game in arcades. This page is an emergency special edition of Cyber Troopers Virtual On Light Troop from SEGA AM3 R&D, Volume 14, titled Crossover. It's all about Cybergirl Virtual On, which is finally starting. The page mentions Red Company and seems to be going to get a scoop. We see people involved in the project in what looks like their office, jokingly described as being filled with premium goods and looking like a pigsty. Highlighting the workspace of artist Akira Katu. There is talk about a VR Girl 3D planning activation, mentioning that they are looking at female models to make a VR Cybergirl in 3D as early as possible. They also mention getting original artwork and interviews from Red Company, from the backwoods of Saitama to Asakusa, for a total of 7 hours by car, showing their dedication to getting the scoop. The atmosphere seems relaxed, with people chatting and having drinks while discussing the project, possibly around a table filled with Virtual On figurines and artwork. It looks like they've successfully acquired original drafts of something for the project. This page is all about the VR Temjin Girl project, kicking off with a big recruitment drive to name her. They're calling for name suggestions for this new VR girl, and if you're lucky enough to have your name chosen by the big bosses, you could win some seriously cool prizes. We're talking original autographed artwork, rough sketches, and even some premium goods, possibly from Baka Kyodan. The page is done in a conversational, joking style, with what seems to be snippets of chats between the team, including Katoki Hajime and Akita Takayuki. They're having a laugh while discussing the VR girl, the design process, and the whole project vibe. It feels like they are aiming for a cool and catchy character. To get involved in the naming contest and potentially win some rare goodies, you need to send your name suggestions to the SEGA Saturn Magazine editorial department. Prizes mentioned include VR Girl Teleka cards, Mito cards, IO cards, and even IO card robots. It sounds like they are really trying to get readers involved and excited about this new VR Girl project within the Virtual On universe. This guide, led by Kanchan Kano, provides advanced strategies for Sega's top skater to achieve a 200% score. The core concept revolves around chaining tricks for cool combos across 6 key course areas. The guide emphasizes linking tricks to overcome obstacles and maximize points. The running line concept suggests a single ideal combo line, even for beginners. Developers from Sega's AM departments offer strategies, all emphasizing the importance of cool combos. They target specific areas like stadiums, pipes, and jump sections. For Area 1, Big Air, perform a high-ranking trick at the start and focus on combos in the stadium section and Pipe B. This guide aims to help players master the body-sensing skateboard game, running on the Model 2 board. This guide provides advanced strategies for achieving cool combos in Top Skater. Area 2 focuses on the Coca-Cola signboard, requiring grade C tricks or higher to link jump ramps C and D, utilizing quick turns and slides. Area 3, the Cheesecake Hill Climb, emphasizes time bonuses and navigating a tricky fork. Area 4 stresses chaining ramp tricks into bank tricks for higher grade combos, aiming to link ramp up to X and into the pipe. Area 5 highlights nollies and ramp tricks in a half pipe, perfect for stylish curve tricks. Area 6, the final challenge, involves the difficult jump ramp Y to Z section, demanding high-grade tricks
and specific positioning within areas A, I, U, E, and O to maximize scores. This page is all about the upcoming Virtua Striker 2 Sega Headquarters Cup. It's a tournament for the Sega Saturn version of Virtua Striker 2, and the grand prize is a fantastic 6-day trip to Germany to watch a soccer event called Opel Masters 97. This event is set to feature top European teams like AC Milan, Paris Saint-Germain, and Bayern Munich. The tournament is being held at Sega headquarters, and it's limited to 64 players. To enter, you needed to apply by sending a postcard to Sega before June 13th. You had to be 18 or older and have a passport valid until the end of August 97. There's a message from Sanboshi Satoshi, the team leader of Virtua Striker 2, who says he hopes players will discover the unknown potential within the games. He mentions that Virtua Striker 2 has improved the balance between free-flowing tactics and effective strategies compared to the previous game. He believes that simply relying on dribbling alone won't guarantee victory, and that adapting tactics to your opponent is key. He anticipates seeing amazing matches that bring out the hidden possibilities of Virtua Striker 2 in this tournament. This page dives into the exciting world of new Virtua Fighter Dojo locations across Japan. It seems like Sega is really pushing the Virtua Fighter scene at the local level, hosting regular events in these dedicated spaces. The page is structured as a map highlighting different dojo locations, from Hokkaido in the north all the way down to Kyushu. Each location listing details the top 3 players in their ranking battle events, and sometimes mentions team battle 3-on-3 competitions too. For example, in Hiroshima, Gaku Rankage is currently number 1, known for using Kagemaru, and they host weekly ranking battles and even special events. Fukuoka boasts Yai Nagajaki as their current strongest player. Moving up to Miyagi, Explosive Ulpion is dominating the rankings there. Tokyo's Akihabara Dojo is celebrating Aniaki's 21st championship win. Osaka's Namba Dojo highlights a popular player and lists upcoming events including area finals and team battles. Aichi's Kanayama Dojo mentions a famous combo and is preparing for Battle Koshien preliminary rounds. Shizuoka's dojo is led by Game Center Mad, a name that promises intense competition. Finally, Hokkaido's Susukino Dojo seems focused on 3-on-3 team battles, proclaiming, "Hokkaido's strongest team is this." With teams like Japsh and Susukino Rao competing, it's clear Sega is building a vibrant community around Virtua Fighter with these dojo events all over Japan. Passion Langrisser Volume 5 is nearing its July release. This issue focuses on Angelina from Langrisser IV, discussing her character development and contrasting her with her twin sister, Shelfaniel. Angelina, a swordswoman, was initially conceived as a generic heroine, but evolved into a key character through added events, highlighted by her growth. The magazine also features a Langrisser fan corner with fan art. An interview with map designer Okada reveals his Shizuoka roots and his design approach. A CG battle corner with photos of cleaned-up illustrators' rooms is included. The next issue promises a secret character, with reader guesses encouraged. Submissions for the Passion Langrisser section are welcomed. This page unveils hidden techniques, Urawaza, for King of the Spirits, 2 Go. To activate these secrets, first view all 8 magazine ads. Then, on the Mode Select screen, enter specific button combinations along with directional inputs. Successful entries are confirmed by an engine sound, except for the brake level mode. Modes include all car selection, L plus up, down, left, right, moon surface, X plus up, down, left, right, up, left, right, up, default, Z plus down, left, right, up, and vehicle level adjustment, XYZ, and start, up/down for brake adjustment. For magical hoppers, input the password EOAIAKBM to start at stage 18. In Sentimental Graffiti, hold LRXYZ before the title screen, then hold XYZ and press start to change the displayed character. The page also hosts a Urawaza a Go contest, awarding prizes for submitted game secrets. This Sega Saturn soft review section previews upcoming games. Reviews are based on sample versions. Japan Professional Mahjong League Certified Dojo Breaker receives mixed feedback. The Lady Users Group finds it enjoyable, even for beginners, 7/10. Game Mania Group praises its authenticity but finds it challenging, 7/10. Guest writers highlight the research mode for learning and muscle training, 6/10. Eberouge also garners varied opinions. Lady Users Group enjoys its blend of cute and serious elements, 7/10. Game Mania Group finds it slow-paced and tiring, 4/10. Guest writers praise the enhanced port with added voice acting and animation, 7/10. The section also mentions a Mahjong playing muscle training Gibbs feature within Dojo Breaker for learning Mahjong strategy. This review section covers 3 SEGA Saturn games. Skullfang, Kuga Gaiden, a shoot-'em-up, received generally positive reviews, with a 6/10 from multiple sources praising its shooting action and boss battles, though some noted potential stage time limits. J Heavily Go Go Goal, a soccer game, scored a 5/10 across the board. Reviewers cited good animations but camera issues and high difficulty. Simple controls were a plus, but gameplay was seen as unsatisfying, with teammate AI problems. Finally, DX Hired, a fighting game, received mixed scores. Guest writers and Footwork Condition gave it a 6/10, highlighting character appeal and a fighting game feel, while the Lady Users Group gave it a 5/10 due to confusing visuals. The next issue will feature Game Heaven. This page showcases the new software release schedule. It's a packed schedule spanning from late May to September, listing a wide variety of games coming to the Sega Saturn. Starting in May, there are titles like Blam, Machine Head, Wara 2 Wars, 3 Dirty Dwarves, Dark Hunter, and DX Hired, which we saw reviewed last page. Moving into June, we see Cyberdoll, Game Tengoku, which is known internationally as Game Paradise, Digital Ange, Dengeki Tenshi SS, Welcome House, Fullcock Mini Yonku Super Factory, Dono Shokutaku, Go, PGA Tour 97, Sonic Jam, and Nights into Dreams amongst many others. July has Fighter's History Dynamite, Deep Fear, Real Sound, Cause No Regret, Princess Crown, and Langrisser IV listed. August continues the flow with Rockman X4, known as Mega Man X4 internationally, and Virus. September lists Sengoku Renka, Dai Chaos, and Terra Cresta 3D. The schedule includes a diverse range of genres, from action and RPG to simulation, sports, puzzle, and even edutainment titles, indicating a healthy flow of software for Sega Saturn fans. The page is primarily tables listing game titles, prices, makers, genres, and compatibility notes for easy viewing of upcoming releases. The Sega Saturn's upcoming software releases are detailed from September onward. September sees titles like Image Fight and X Multiply Double Pack and Edward Randy, The Killer Lady. October brings Grandred, and November features Falcom Classics. December includes Maria and Soku Seiha Gakuen, with summer releases such as Voice Fantasia, Lost Voice Power. The 97 year-end releases include Baroque, Phantom Fish, and Music Sound Creation Tools. An undated section lists a massive array of games, including Sonic the Fighters, Virtua Fighter 3, Resident Evil 2, Grandia, Vampire Hunter, Darkstalkers Revenge, and many more across diverse genres. This extensive schedule highlights the breadth of software planned for the Saturn. This page delves into game and art's subtle relationship, exploring the connection between virtual reality and memory through the game Virtual Hidelight. The article starts by describing the game's opening scene in a desert, drawing a parallel to the movie Paris, Texas. The reviewer reflects on the immersive experience of wandering through the game's wilderness as if it were a real journey. The gameplay involves navigating using a map, encountering enemies like a slime creature, and even a tanuki, which needs to be dealt with using a knife. The reviewer muses on the realistic feeling of the game environment, comparing it to past travels in America, specifically driving through the deserts, and recalling the sad sight of a raccoon hit by a car on the highway. The page also includes a section called Weekly Fuse Academia, featuring a cartoon professor and some text, adding a touch of lighthearted commentary to the discussion. Overall, the article reflects on how games can evoke real-world memories and experiences, blurring the lines between virtual and actual realities. This page is showcasing a Reader's Prize giveaway from SEGA Saturn Magazine. Up for grabs are various items, including SEGA Saturn-compatible software for 20 lucky readers, meaning winners can choose any Saturn game released before May 23, 1997. 3 people can win Stake Winner 2, Strongest Horse Legends software, a horse racing game from Saurus, highlighted for its arcade and original modes. For collectors, there's a sentimental graffiti calendar and data collection book, a rare non-sale item from NEC Interchannel, only for 3 winners. 10 people can get their hands on a Sonic Super Ball, described as a glowing ball and sticker set, courtesy of Sega. Lastly, 3 art enthusiasts can win Last Bronx official artwork, promoting the upcoming Saturn release and its beautiful graphics. To enter, readers needed to fill out a survey on a postcard and send it in by June 6th. The page also teases the next issue, promising 4-panel manga comics by popular game creators. This page is all about an exciting Advan Goods giveaway campaign tied to the Sega Saturn racing game Tube Age King The Spirits 2, which translates to Tube Age King The Spirits 2. They're giving away a total of 100 prizes, and the application deadline is fast approaching, set for May 31, 1997. Looking at the prizes, there's a cool Keiichi Tsuchiya replica helmet for 2 lucky winners, stadium jumpers and director's chairs for a few more, and then sweatshirts, sports pouches, caps, and key holders for larger groups of winners. For the model car fans, 20 people can win a Tamiya JTCC car plastic model. To enter, you needed to cut out the barcode from somewhere, stick it on a postcard, and send it in with your details like address, name, age, gender, and occupation. They were drawing 100 winners at random, and you couldn't choose which prize you wanted. On the side, there's also a small advertisement for the Atlas JTCC video series, offering 3 volumes of videos about the '96 Super Touring Car season, champion battles, and crashes, each priced at 3,300 yen. This page is all about the fighting game Groove on Fight, the Power Instincts 3 for the Sega Saturn. It's highlighted as a well-received, hard-hitting action game for 1 to 4 players, supporting both standard and professional Sega Saturn joysticks. The advert details the prices. The standard CD version is 5,800 yen, and the expansion RAM cartridge version is 7,800 yen, both excluding tax. There's a Strongest Fighter Set present campaign underway. The application period runs from May 16th to June 30th, 1997. With entries needing to be postmarked by the deadline. To enter, you had to cut out the application ticket from inside the Groove on Fight product, stick it on a postcard, and send it in with your details. They are giving away a Strongest Fighter set in a lottery to 5 lucky winners, and another Commando set to 100 people. The Strongest Fighter set is detailed as including a control box, base, arcade board, and the Groove on Fight game cassette. It seems to be a prize aimed at serious arcade enthusiasts. At the bottom, there's a small mention of Game Max, which appears to be a radio program on Nippon Broadcasting System, airing every Friday from 2400 onwards, and an advertisement for job openings at Atlas, looking for game designers, programmers, character designers, and advertising/public relations staff, specifying experience of 2 years or more. This page introduces Real Sound, Cause No Regret, which is being promoted as the world's first listening game. This unique title is coming to the Sega Saturn in the summer of 1997 and is quite ambitious, spanning 3 CRIDROMs and priced at 6,400 yen. What's really interesting is the impressive team behind it. Kenji Ino is credited as director and planner, Yuji Sakamoto is responsible for the scenario, and music is by the renowned Keiichi Suzuki. Furthermore, the voice cast is star-studded, featuring popular talents like Takashi Kashiwabara, Miho Kano, and Ryoko Shinohara. The page highlights Reef Sound and Real Sound, and the title also features Braille, suggesting a strong emphasis on auditory experience. The large number 3 might refer to the triple CD format, underlining the scope of this audio-focused game.